But yeah, no. But yeah, so like Big Papa Fascist, you know what? Paleo Convent really is probably just like an actual fascist. Like, let's be honest. The man's had plenty of like really crappy takes and some definitely some like fashy takes as well. To warrant the name. Like he's earned his title as a fascist now. I don't know why he has this like I don't know why Big Papa Fascist really just has like a severe hate boner for like LGBTQ issues, but like he does he just really hates it because his religion. He can't all he can do is hate and all that, and that's quite the unfortunate thing. And luckily, Roxie, she's fairly equipped to handle this. She's had plenty of debates on like Twitter. I've seen her like debate. Where was it? I can't remember. I know she's been on like a couple panels. Oh yeah, she was on the. Oh yeah, that's right. She was on the Kink at Pride discourse panel, which I like looked over that. I believe like at least partially on stream, which was a little wild, but like crazy shit happens. But I did catch like the last half of her debate with Big Papa Fascist, where she was talking about like a gender, no, not gender, sex being bimodal and all that, and Big Papa Fascist, couldn't clear the bar there. But anyways, I'll stop poisoning the wall for Big Papa Fascist and let him do the poisoning himself against Staroxvia. And I have to figure out when this starts. Let me see, actually.
We'll have to hear from it. It wasn't echoing for me, but it was echoing for Roxie. So whenever she's...
All right, did we do it?
Okay.
There we go. And one second.
Just take my audience. Okay. I'm ready whenever you are.
Alrighty, yeah. If you want to go ahead and just give your opening spiel, this is the first official, actual moderating a debate from San Soul stream. No title. This is probably not going to be a common occurrence, but let's go. This is Staroxvia.
All right.
Go ahead and shout yourself out and all that.
So I'm Staroxvia, Staroxvia. You can find me on Twitter and Twitch at that handle. It's like started with Pokemon Roxie. And then do I also give my
really quick?
What? Say it again.
Someone in my chat is pointing out that I think your Discord might...
I just realized something. Like, look at the. I'm not really great with like Pokemon, but like the fact that these two kind of like blend in really well is really neat. But anyways, that's just kind of crazy.
Mic is your webcam mic instead of your good mic that you have there.
Oh,
yeah.
Okay. Oh. Let me fix that. I am.
Here we go.
Is it better now?
Significantly. Holy shit.
All right.
All right.
There we go.
All right. So I'm Staroxvia, Staroxvia, like story with Pokemon Roxie. You can find me on Twitter at that. I do progressive stuff, sort of stock image type stuff. So check me out. And then do I also do my opening statements?
Yeah.
So I am relatively uncertain of where this is going to go. The only directive that we had was gender. So to give an overview of gender, so first and foremost, gender and sex are indeed distinct. I'm pretty sure Big Papa Fascist would acknowledge that as well. Sex is, of course, a bimodal distribution of biological traits used to sort of sort humans into cohorts of anatomically into anatomically like cohorts, whereas gender is the social construction that we build on top of that. And I know that there's a lot of confusion as to what it entails to be a social construct.
I'm sorry, I don't mean to cut you off. Can you slow down a little bit?
Okay, I can do that. So, I know that there's a lot of confusion as to what it means to be a social construct. So, I would just like to say that just because gender is a social construct does not mean that it isn't meaningfully real or has tangible impacts on people's lives. And I'll explain with an analogy. Language is a social construct. English does not exist beyond what humans decide that it exists and perpetuates its existence. And yet, our capacity for language is not socially constructed, and it is impossible for you right now to hear the words that I am.
I just realized I was muted. Well, that's going great. But I like the distinction Roxie makes between like language itself and our ability to produce language in of itself. Making it clear like what people refer to when they talk about social constructs themselves. I think that's like a good way of opening it, just to mainly like lay the groundwork for a lot of like future things. But yeah.
I am saying for the white noise that they are. The meaning of these words that I'm saying is fundamentally imbued into your understanding. It's fundamentally imbued into them by your brain. Your perception and the way that you interact with the world has language fundamentally baked in. That's because brains are a perfect conduit from taking social constructs and making them meaningfully real. We can conceive of language as being as consisting of three parts. There's the abstract component to language, which is all the rules and sounds and words that sort of, you can imagine them as existing sort of separate to humans, but built by humans, that's just the same. And this sort of abstract portion of language is what gets integrated into infants from around the onset of birth for the first few years of development. This forms a sort of what you can consider a sort of like internal language identity that forms your thoughts. You think in English. There's a fundamental component of your identity that is your language. Then using that internal language identity, you then
I don't know. I think hold on. I need to go back like 10 seconds here because I didn't necessarily follow that right.
There's a fundamental component of your identity that is your language. Then
I don't know how true that is. It seems a bit more like rooted in like philosophical concepts of identity that I'm not really too familiar with, but I don't know. Let me think. So the language that we think in is intrinsic to our our identity. I'm assuming what she's going for here is that there are like certain characteristics that are intrinsic to our own identity, with language being one of them, and she's gonna like tie that into gender somehow. I think that's what her strategy was. Like, I mean, I guess languages do provide rules for how we like express ourselves. Then I could see that working.
Using that internal language identity, you then express that to other people in order to convey meaning. Gender works somewhat similarly. There are abstract gender constructs in society, man and woman, in typical Western society, man and woman, that when you're born get ingrained into your mind as something you pick up. And around them, you build your...
Also, like, another thing that this is kind of like a nitpick, though I know that Roxie's neurodivergent and can't really help it. Like, it's, like, very difficult... Oh, sorry. It's very difficult to kind of follow a lot of the speech when a lot of it is, I guess, stuttering, really. Like, again, this is, like, a huge-ass nitpick, which... Like, even I stutter a shit ton, and I don't consider myself to be neurodivergent, nor have I been, like, diagnosed with anything, but I don't know, just, for me, it's, wow, see, look at that, I'm stuttering right here, but it's just, it can be hard to follow sometimes, which will affect a person's ability to make an argument in some aspects, mainly because sometimes comes out as unclear. Like, again, like, I do this shit all the time. Like, I stutter a ton. I use words like a lot because, wow, wait, I use words like a lot. Wait, yeah. And I can sometimes come off as like sounding weird, but again, like, this isn't really just like a thing like that she does. It's things like everybody, like even me, I do that all the time. So it just means I have to like concentrate a little bit harder, but otherwise, nothing much of an issue there.
Your internal sense of where you fit into that gender identity, based on which you then express you then express in order to interact with the world. There's gender expectations, gender identity, and gender expression. And just because gender is socially constructed, it does not then mean that these three components do not have meaningful and integral parts of the way that humans interact in society.
All right, Big Papa Fast, your turn.
So, like, are you having a seizure or what?
What the fuck? Okay. For one, I don't think that's the appropriate thing to say to someone who's stuttered a lot, like saying that they have a seizure. I can already tell that Big Papa Fascist is like, I know he's a bigot, he's proud of it, but like, God, for fuck's sake, he couldn't at least like start off somewhat cordial and be like, hey, like, what's like, is like the stuttering like normal for you? Like, oh, well, that stuff, like, or I don't know, something akin to like, it's like, oh, you getting like an understanding of what Roxie's like, I guess like speech impediment. Yeah, that's right, speech impediment. And just getting a note of that, but no, going straight into like what I'd probably consider like borderline ableism. But again, like, this is tangential to the debate. He's just kind of like insulting.
Well, I mean,
this is just opening statements.
Okay. Well, I like caught maybe 15% of that because there was a lot of like duh. So I'm just wondering.
Listen,
okay.
If you just pay
Ableism, gotta love it.
attention real closely, I'm sure the words will peek through. Because you understand English, you just gotta pay attention to the words.
Okay, gotcha. So the duh is not from a speech impediment?
Oh, it is from a speech impediment.
Okay. I was just curious. So here's my worldview. My worldview is very simple. Gender does not exist except inside your mind. It's totally subjective. It's socially constructed.
And this isn't some like gender abolition like take really necessarily, because he's just gonna like manipulate to be like sex is the only thing. But again, I'm jumping the gun here.
True. What Galaxia says about.
Oh yeah, and another thing. Oh fuck, no. He will constantly like, misname Roxie because he can't understand like how to pronounce names, I guess. But okay.
What Galaxia says about words being social constructs. They are. The word for sex, for instance, is a social construction, but what it indicates is a biological reality that exists inside of objective reality. So the indicator is very simple. The way that you can tell the difference between a man and a woman is very simple. It's always been very simple. It's probably not ever going to change. I don't see any type of scientific way that one sex can flow to another. As far as gender goes, in and of itself,
and for the most part, he's kind of correct in the whole. You can't really change your sex for the most part, of course. There are procedures that you can do to alter your physical characteristics, which are associated with your sex. I believe like my definition of sex, I believe which coordinates a bit with a Scientific American. I believe like that chart is that, along with like other definitions is that sex is kind of like a collection of like traits that a person has, whether those be like what gametes they produce, what chromosomes they have, and like their secondary physical characteristics, and all of that is kind of like all of that adds up to like a person's sex, really. And that's kind of like my understanding of it, which leads me to say that you can alter your sex and that you can like change like the hormonal makeup of your body to like produce different different physical attributes, such as like if you're taking like estrogen, like a higher voice, body gets a little curvy. You go through like PMS symptoms, I believe I've heard, among other things, and you grow breast tissue, all that jazz. Like all of that's associated with like taking estrogen, and then testosterone, you get the facial hair, the deeper voice, among other things. But yeah, no.
People use the word gender as being interchangeable with the word sex, which is why sex is actually a much more useful way to look at this phenomenon. If you want proof that that's
And this is where BPF loses everyone.
true, all you have to do is look at the recognized genders inside the United States, and there's two. There's only two because they're used interchangeably with sex. This is how most people regard these things. And this is how people will almost always forevermore regard these things. So
And this statement right here that people have always like referred to like people as like a man and a woman is just not even true. throughout history, there have been like many cultures throughout the world who have accepted like trans identities of some sort, with like the two-spirit in the Native Americans in the U.S. If I can remember correctly, there's this in India. There's also like trans. They also have like trans identities that coincide with like the Hindu like religious system, where people who are born like male, I believe they specifically like they experience like like femininity and all that. They consider themselves woman-like, and they cut off their genitals, and then they live life as like these fertility priests, or like beings of sorts, where they kind of like promote fertility across like other couples, and that's kind of like their function in society. But the concept of like there's only like man and woman is kind of more of a recent-ish phenomenon, coinciding with Europe being Europe and colonizing a bunch of folk, and kind of imposing that now what seems to be traditional gender binary, but that's not true. No one that there have been like trans people existing since the beginning of time. There have been like accommodations on various cultures based on this as well. But I wish I like kept this like one fucking book that I was reading like for a class, which talked about this a bit more in depth as like a kind of intro into, I guess, various identities.
Within the paradigm of what I'm talking about, I don't think that transgenderism is actually a real phenomenon, but that these are biological men and women who dress as the opposite sex.
The idea that this is like not a real phenomenon is just also false, based on what I've said earlier. But okay.
And nothing more than that. I think it's very much a mental disorder, nothing more than a mental disorder. But that gender in and of itself is not a particularly good way to look at this phenomenon.
So right off the bat, I take umbrage with your assertion that the way that it's always been has been man and woman. This is a very sort of like modernish, like Eurocentric perspective on
Ooh,
gender.
she actually. Oh my gosh, she actually talks about that. That's great. I like that.
In other cultures, this is absolutely not the case. In
Holy
I believe,
cow,
Southern
she
India,
actually
there's
went into
the
this.
Hydra. In Native American cultures, there's two spirits,
Yes.
and these date back to like as long as humans have been around.
Two-spirit only dates back to the 90s, which is when they gave it the term two-spirit.
Oh, that's false. That's false. BPF. Nope.
But the concept has existed prior to then. Like.
Oh, it has, huh? Because there was just tons of Native American record keeping, was there? This was a phenomenon.
The reason why he's saying this is because the Native Americans don't keep they didn't have like great written records, because they didn't necessarily write the things that they didn't write things down what they were doing. They didn't really have like writing utensils or paper back then, and so all we kind of have to go off of is oral tradition. Now, I think Roxie like mentioned off like a couple other different cultures. Like personally, I can't remember the fucking exact name of what happened in the Hindi culture, but there's also like other things I believe in. Is either I want to say the Philippines, where there was also people doing that exact same thing, among other things. Like I really wish I had the books I could refer to it specifically where I read this, but again, like BPF is kind of just like he's just being obtuse.
Phenomenon referred to by the Spanish only in very limited ways. You have no idea what you're talking about, but go ahead.
Okay. Dating back to like the most ancient of mythologies, like in Nana, which is the oldest Sumerian myth. There are like gender neutral there are gender neutral beings. You're just like factually wrong. That's
you mean sex neutral.
No, gender neutral.
Oh, they were gender. Okay, so these are beings that the concept of gender didn't even exist at the point that you're saying that.
No. Okay, so it's at this point where maybe like either at this point or like a couple points down where I'd probably get an idea that Big Papa Fascist is not going to be debating in good faith, especially when he's being like this deliberately like picky with shit, and he's like sex neutral, like no, gender neutral, and then saying shit like they didn't have a concept of gender back then. Like at this point I would start like just hardcore dunking, but like, let's see what happens actually.
Okay, so do you understand that there's a difference between giving a phenomena a name and that phenomena existing?
Of course.
So do you agree? Do you agree then? Wait. Do you agree?
Not a phenomenon. It's a reference to sex.
Do you agree then? Okay. Well, here. Okay. Do you agree then that society's building sort of expectations and roles around sex has been around much longer than us using the term gender to describe it?
Well, nobody's ever used the term gender to describe it.
We do now.
Okay, no, we don't now. A select few people use gender as being
Let's let him finish the point real quick.
Independent of sex, but almost everybody intersects the two.
You didn't.
This would be appealing to like popularity, really, and saying like most people refer to gender and sex as different things when we're talking about in things like academia. Like I should have tried to pull up some resources real quick in the meantime, but let me think. But yeah, no, like most like reputable academic resources differentiate between the two. In particular, I'm believing like the APA has had something on this. Like, give me like 2 seconds and I can figure out specifically like the document that I believe. Actually, hold on. I could just use this. I'm stupid. I forgot she had these resources in there. But yeah, no. So right here, this is APA, and they use gender, cisgender. Right here, gender refers to the attitudes, feelings, behaviors that a given culture associates with a person's biological sex. Behavior that is compatible with cultural expectations is referred to as gender normative. Behaviors that are viewed as incompatible with these expectations constitute gender nonconformity. How long into this are you? I'm about. They've both gotten through their opening statements, and now they're kind of like about 5 minutes into the debate. Now, APA has a definition for gender, and now we go to sex, or sex assigned at birth. Sex is typically assigned at birth or before or during an ultrasound based on the appearance of external genitalia, when the external genitalia are ambiguous other indicators. And then internal genitalia, chromosomal, hormonal sex, are considered to assign a sex with the aim of assigning a sex that is most likely to be congruent with the person's gender identity. For most people, gender identity is congruent with sex assigned at birth. See cisgender. For TGNC individuals, gender nonconforming folk, gender identity differs in varying degrees from a sex assigned at birth. So, yes, BPF can say that most people refer to sex and gender interchangeably, but when we're talking about the terms, they're different. They're not the same. And making this claim is kind of just really weird. But anyways, back to the debate here.
To the question. Okay. Do you acknowledge though that the phenomena that So you said in your opening statement that words are socially constructed. The terms that we use are somewhat arbitrary. I'm using them in order to get at concepts. So do you then agree that the concept of society's constructing roles surround like loosely based on sex has been a thing since basically forever?
Yeah, well, yeah, of course. Society has roles based on sex because there are natural inclinations that different sexes have which fulfill those roles.
And at this point, I would be like, no, they're based around like the roles are based around like I guess gender norms really. Those roles are gender norms and like gendered behaviors. Not really necessarily like sex behaviors.
Okay, so do you agree then that in modern society, wearing a skirt is associated with womanhood?
I think that in Western societies, it can be, yes.
What biological function are you fulfilling when women wear skirts?
Gender expression is not, even according to transgenders, a result of the clothing that you wear.
Okay.
And you see, like, BPF is not engaging with this. Like, Roxie, like, you gave an example saying, like, oh, yeah, this person's wearing a skirt, which is used, which is seen in society as, like, a more feminine thing, is seen as things like women usually do. And then trying to say, does that have any biological function to it? Which her argument at this point, I believe, is that is trying to separate between like the sex and gender, and like going into gender roles. Now, I think beforehand I would have clarified, saying these are gender roles, not sex roles, and then going into that example as a result, and basically kind of like fighting back here. And at this, I think let's keep going on, see what happens next.
Do you have an actual physiological example other than I wear the other sex's fashion?
Okay, so
and again, he's going to keep referring to other sex instead of like other gender, which it basically he's going to keep attempting to conflate terms, which is a sign of bad faith. I'm going to keep noting that.
You got to get the terminology right. Transgenders and transgenderism just aren't correct terms. Like, they're not grammatically correct. Okay. And then second off, like, gender
is all subjective, so whatever I call it is whatever I call it.
Well, it's...
I don't care if it offends you. I don't care.
It's not that it offends me. It's you look like an idiot because it's wrong.
I don't care if it offends you. Go ahead. If you didn't know exactly what I was talking about, you wouldn't have referenced the fucking words. So
no. I knew what you were talking about. I'm pointing out to you that it's incorrect terminology.
No, it's correct.
It's not. It's.
I wouldn't have stuck on this, honestly. I'm gonna be honest. Like, I wouldn't have cared. Like, I would just let him look like an idiot. Like. And just moved on, really.
It's okay. Anyway, where was I? Okay, so if you were paying attention to my opening statement, you would have remembered that gender is multifaceted. It consists of expectations, identity, and expression. So gendered expression is rolled up into gender. Do you disagree?
According to your terminology, you're saying.
I would ask that you work within like the.
Gender neutral terms are pretty cool in English, but in Portuguese it is more complicated. I mean, I'm not much of a linguist, so I don't really know too much about like gender neutral terms in like Portuguese, if I'm honest. Which is in this debate, like we're talking about like English and shit. Within like gender within the context of like the English language, really.
The framework that I am presenting to you, because you're debating me.
Because what you're doing is you're intersecting gender with sex.
I am specifically separating them.
Yeah, no, yeah. At this again, another thing, BPF he's just shadowboxing. I'm gonna be like that. That right there is just BPF shadowboxing. I'm not him trying to say that gender is intersected with sex. Like no, there's like clear, distinct definitions that should be noted. And I think right here, I think if Roxie like does if she like states the differences between sex and gender by just going over the definitions right here. I know she does at some point in the debate because she like left little like logs, I guess, for her sources. But if she does this right here, like this will clear up like the confusion immediately, I think, or the attempt at making and causing confusion. But
all of those are actually sex phenomena, and I'll give you an example.
No, they're not.
I'll give you an example of how stupid gender expression is. You ready?
Okay.
We'll make this super easy for you.
Okay.
Okay, so I had this question with Dylan Burns, and I'm sure that other people have seen it now, and so hopefully I hope that they have a response to it. Do you think that homosexuality is being attracted to the opposites, or to the same sex or the same gender?
Same gender.
It's the same gender. Okay, so if you're a woman or you're a man according to your gender, what about a non-binary? You're attracted to a non-binary. They don't have a gender, or they're gender fluid. So is that homosexual or is it not?
Would you? Okay. So, okay. How do I begin to explain it?
My response would be then you would be pansexual, meaning that your attraction is not based on gender necessarily. At that point, I'd immediately just say, oh yeah, no, you're just pansexual. Done, easy. Also, this is also like slightly tangential to like gender as a concept, and and I know where BPF is trying to get at. He's eventually gonna like reduce it down to genitalia, but like I would immediately just say, oh yeah, pansexual, done, easy.
Okay, so do you agree then that attraction, so attraction as a phenomenon is a thing? Okay, how do I begin to explain this? Okay, so first and foremost, wait. So you acknowledge that homosexuality is a bit of a social construct in the sense that we're constructing a category in order to classify attraction, correct?
No, it's not to classify attraction. It's to classify same-sex activity.
Okay.
All right. So now BPF has made a claim here. I'm pretty sure if I look at this, hold on. Let's see. We could look in this definition right here of I guess queer might be helpful. So let's see. Controversial slang, mainly pejorative, referring to gays, lesbians, or relating to homosexual orientation. I think this is just sex role, sexual orientation, queer. Doesn't say anything like hetero or homosexual. Hold on. Let me look at this real quick here, actually. We can probably like pull up definitions. So, in fact, let me do it right now. We can, get like the differences between them right here. Let's see. Heterosexuality, people who are sexually romantically attracted to people of the opposite sex. That's one definition. And then heterosexual hold on. Can I fucking no? WebMD, go away. Heterosexual men are sexually or romantically attracted to women, and then women to men. And then we go to heteroromantic. And now the main thing with this is like this definition only works really if you're not talking about like trans folk, really, like just like right here. Let's see. The term transgender refers to blah blah blah. In fact, transgender people can be heterosexual, homosexual, pansexual, queer, blah blah blah, or any sexual orientation Those whose gender identity corresponds to their birth sex. This has nothing to do with that. So if we go to like another thing, like how whatever this is right here. This talks about sexuality in terms of like gender rather than like sex, which I think would be the better definition to go off of. Let's see, with non-binary people, they're somewhere in between. You can be attracted to more femme or more masc. Doesn't necessarily mean that they're pan. Okay, yeah, you're right. I could say that. So then basically, I guess the answer to the like you're attracted to a non-binary person then would be like it depends. If you're more attracted to like feminine folk. Actually, wait, because I mean I have been attracted to like non-binary folk before. So yeah. So for me then, I guess the answer would be like it depends. If you're more attracted to like feminine presenting people, then I would probably still consider you like straight or in the very least hetero flexible. Depending on the situation. If you're talking about like a normally like straight guy who like just who just likes women, like if you're attracted to a femme non-binary person, then yeah, no, you would still I guess be considered straight in that case. And if they're like completely androgynous, then maybe we're probably talking about like somewhere in between, like maybe bi or pan at that point. And if they're more masc presenting, and we're going off of me being a dude, then that would classify you as gay. Like at that point there's kind of like leeway depending on like how you approach it really, and not really necessarily just like pan, but.
First, okay, no one uses it like that. Any definition you'll pull up.
That way. Everybody uses it.
No,
that
they
way.
don't.
And okay, so this is probably like one big mistake that I think Roxie is making right here. There are definitions, as I've shown, like that you do it on the basis of sex. There are those. The distinction I would make is that that using sex, that talking about like same sex, opposite sex is like a bit of a misnomer, if that's what I'm thinking about. It's a bit of like it's a bit misleading as to like our nature of attraction, and that I would probably use like a gender as a better way of describing it, and then go into the reasons why, like going forward. But let's see.
Everybody considers it same sex. Everybody.
No, it's based on orientation and identity, not acts.
Even if that's true, and you said that it's same gender versus same.
To be fair, like most people probably do think of it as like same sex, opposite sex, mainly because I guess what's the word I'm looking for? I guess most people haven't really been. I could be wrong here, but like most people really haven't been exposed to like trans issues that much. So, like, again, I could probably be wrong here, but I would probably acknowledge that much, that most people don't have like the greatest understanding of sexuality when it comes to this.
Same sex, which I'm saying they're
okay, wait. You're avoiding the point entirely. I haven't even gotten there yet.
If you look at somebody who's the opposite gender, fine, because the category is binary. But if you're talking about having 15 or 16 or 17 different genders, how do you tell what's homosexual?
Infinite amount of genders.
Sexual and what isn't?
Would you like an answer?
Yeah.
So, I tried to explain this. So, because we're classifying attraction, and attraction is a bit of a messy thing.
And so I'm gonna like stop here before she gives an answer here. Oh shit! Thank you for following Staroxvia. Welcome to the Bone Zone. I am currently reviewing your debate right now, and I'm about to hopefully predict an answer here, or at least attempt to here. So basically, hopefully, what you're going for with the nature of attraction would be that we base it based off of like gender roles and how we perceive them, whether they be like more feminine or more masculine. Maybe they're androgynous, and like you're pan, you don't really care that much. But that it's not necessarily dependent on like whether or not you have a dick or a vagina. like no one's gonna karyotype you. That's exactly what I say. All right, let's see. I did say let's see.
There are gonna be situations at the margins where it's a bit dicey. In general, in general, homosexuality would be sexual attraction to the same gender, and I would add the wait, let me finish. And I would add the caveat that it's perceived that it's attraction to perceived gender, which makes sense.
I just remembered one thing that I mentioned just before you hit the follow button there, that I don't think you necessarily acknowledge that there are definitions of attraction which do say same sex, opposite sex, and that what I would have said instead, those are probably either fairly antiquated, they don't really actually grasp the nature of attraction, or that it's just a bit misleading in that. I think if you said that, that would have been a bit better transition into the argument. But that's kind of the big thing that I got right there.
Because you can't read someone's gender identity, you can only see how they're expressing. So attraction to non-binary individuals would sort of depend on if the person being attracted to them perceives them as being more masculine or feminine.
Oh, okay, so this is what I was talking about earlier.
Does that make sense?
Not really. Why wouldn't it be more categorically useful to just dictate it by, if you're born a man and you can't change the fact that you're born a man, and nobody can, and you have sex with a man, that you're a homosexual? Why is that less useful than trying to introduce...
Because he's making... I think BPF is making a ton of assumptions. If he's talking about someone who's assigned male at birth, and say me as a guy would have sex with that person, then that would make me gay. Again, that's not necessarily true, because we don't know this person's gender. He's BPF is referring specifically to this person's sex, and which again is not useful at all for how we define attraction. Because attraction's not just whether or not you like penis or vagina.
A broad idea that nobody can even fucking agree upon.
There's pretty easy to agree upon. Okay, so starting
upon, you're saying right now what you're doing is you're interjecting secondary sexual characteristics and saying that that's gender expression.
No,
and that people can make a determination on whether they're male or female.
I was saying it was gender expression. You just repeated my position back to me.
Let me finish and I'll kick it back. And if they're involved in same-sex activity, it's not homosexual, depending on which secondary sex characteristic.
Again, I really hate that BPF is defining sexuality based on acts, when that's not necessarily what happens. If someone never has sex in their entire life, BPF would have to call them asexual at that point, because they don't have sex. They haven't shown an expression. They haven't shown a inclination towards penis or vagina at that point. If we're going based off of that, which is a big failing of BPF's understanding of sexuality at that point. That right there is enough to know that he's being either completely inept, he doesn't know the nature of sexuality at all, or he's being purposefully obtuse to get under people's skin and be a dick.
The other person thinks it's more feminine or more masculine, and by the way, that's fucking stupid on its face. That's not how anybody categorizes these things in real time.
That's how everyone
does. His incredulity is not is not an argument at all. He could call it ridiculous, but he's just wrong, and it's funny.
Okay, so base level. Okay, you need to stop referring to homosexuality as classifying acts. It's classifying identities and orientation.
Oh yeah? Give me an actual definition from an authority proving that.
Oh, do you want me to pull up the APA's definition right fucking now?
Yes, pull up the APA's definition of homosexuality.
Okay, let's see. APA. I was looking at this earlier.
And he's specifically saying the APA. Hold on. APA homosexuality. Let's look at this real quick. Policy statements. Definition. That's probably what we should probably look for. A sexual attraction or activity between members of the same sex, although the term can refer to homosexual orientation. in both like men and women. The current practice distinguishes between gay men and lesbians. Homosexuality itself is now commonly referred to as same-sex sexual orientation or activity, which I'd argue is like not the most useful definition. Like attraction would probably be the better way of describing it, but again, like I don't think like sex is the correct term for it. In this case, I think that the APA would probably have to look into this a bit differently. Which let's see here. This right here is basically like a trap right here. Like this is what BPF wanted Roxie to say. Let's see what happens here actually.
I will say as a caveat though, because I know where you're going with. Hang on, where's the fucking?
Here, no, it's fine. I'll read it for you right now.
No. I know yours is incomplete. Yours cuts it off. I'm looking for the exact source. Hang on.
It's not.
I'm pretty sure this is his source.
Okay, no. Okay, no. Let me finish.
Whoa. Yo, what's up, Ted? It's the legend Bones. How you doing, Ted?
Christ, you're a child.
Andrew,
Okay.
let her finish, all right, buddy?
Okay.
At this point, I would have just started insulting him. Like,
I'll mute you. I swear to fucking God. Go ahead, Roxie.
Is that all you have?
I'm a mod on your channel. I forgot. Yeah, I think I modded you at some point.
Just like mocking my fucking speech impediment. Okay. Let's see, where's the fucking?
Oh yeah, the fact that BPF like mocked, like just keeps mocking Star's, or I should say Roxie's speech impediment is fucking hilarious. It's crazy how like infantile this dude can be, and it just shows like how unable he is to like have a debate with anyone. If he just keeps devolving into this shit, it's so fucking stupid.
Okay, so here I'll get this out of the I'll get this out of the way right now. I know that it references sex. One thing that they need to keep in mind is that even though that I am making a prescription that we ought to separate out sex and gender, people do still conflate them and use them interchangeably. In the full wait.
Yeah, this is still kind of a trap.
In the full
Trap here.
definition from the APA, it makes it clear that it's referring to gender because.
Well, why don't you go ahead and post that definition for us?
Here, I'll do it right. I'll do it right now.
Hold on, did she actually post this? I might have missed that in the links here. Let's see. Is that what it was referring? Oh, okay. Sexual orientation. That's the one. Okay. Hold on. Do I still have that pulled up? Yes, I do. Okay. Let's see. Let's see. Let's start here. A component of identity that includes a person's sexual and emotional attraction to another person, and the behavior and/or social affiliation that may result from this attraction. A person may be attracted to men, women, both, neither, or people who are genderqueer, androgynous, or have other gender identities. Yeah. That right there. That's a good way of getting out of it, actually. That is a way. I will say that is probably a good way. You could probably say right there, yeah, gender right there. Sexual and emotional attraction to another person and their behavior and/or social affiliation that may result, and basically going into that how gender kind of affects that. Yeah, that's what the word. First, the sex, those blah blah blah. Sexual, one's own sex. Didn't actually take that way. Looked at the third definition on the left. Refers to the sex of those to whom one is sexually and romantically attracted. Categories of sexual orientation typically have included attraction to members of one's own sex, and attraction to members of the other sex, blah, blah, blah. Pansexual, queer. While these categories continue to be widely used, researchers suggest that sexual orientation does not always appear in definable categories and instead occurs on a continuum. In addition, some research includes that sexual orientation is fluid. Let's see. Yeah, okay. Talked about the gender binary back here anyways. Yeah, no. I think I think the third one's probably a bit more clear in that aspect. Then yeah, I see why you went with that one actually. Okay,
I'm fairly good with screen
let's
sharing.
see.
Gonna load up for me.
Yeah, you can just post it in the general chat,
Right,
and I'll put it
and
on
then just Control F sexual orientation, and then we're looking for that third definition there on that third definition from the left. If you read the full thing, let's see here. I'll read it first. So I'll read the full definition for chat. Sexual orientation refers to the
Is it okay? This is the frame
sex
dropping on
of
then.
those
Okay.
of whom one is sexually and romantically attracted. So right after that, it's clearly like meant to be an identity thing, but we'll go on. Categories of sexual orientation typically included attraction to members of one's own sex, gay or men or lesbians, attraction to members of another sex, heterosexuals, and attraction to members of both sexes, bisexual. All right, and if you just cut it off right there, it would seem that it's based on sex. But again, you got wait. Let me finish.
And again, like BPF is good. He's just gonna keep interrupting like a ton. He's gonna look for those moments where he can like pick at you. Which like personally, I would treat him like way more abrasively than this. I would just tell him like, hey, shut up, let me finish, and you can cry later. Like that's probably something I'd do. Like personally, I would take him in like way like I would take him in more bad faith than you would have personally, and I've taken probably people a bit better than him. Probably like Rob Nora is the first person that comes to mind. I would take take this person in way more bad faith than I think you did, which I understand would probably be like a product of I don't know like I don't know how he's gonna argue or like how much of like a productive conversation this would be. Like I don't know how much you watched up I guess is the proper term on Big Papa Fascist, but like no, he's just a really like he's a bad faith cunt. I'm gonna be honest.
Hey.
Homosexual.
Hey. Well, okay, wait.
Sorry, really quick, Roxie.
So-
wait,
Do you, wait. Do you
wait,
just
hold on.
okay?
Just doing a bait and switch.
Hold on.
Stupid.
It's your boy, the moderator. Roxie, which of the
It's your boy the
which
moderator.
of the definitions are we looking at here?
The third one from the left. Wait. Okay. Also, Big Papa Fascist, Andrew, my friend. You notice how there where it says heterosexuals? Do you agree that homosexual is a counterpoint to heterosexual?
What do you mean a counterpoint? What I'm
Like-
saying is that the APA's definition of homosexual is very specific and references sex. Isn't that true?
Wait, hang on, we're getting there. So
Oh yeah. And another thing he's gonna bring up is he's basically gonna like rely super hard. I noticed this like later in the debate where and he's done this before where he says like psychology is like a soft science. There's like a higher rate of which like data's bad or whatever. And funny how he's using the APA right here to dunk it's kind of hilarious. It's kind of hilarious how he has like a big fucking double standard when it comes to this. It's quite sad.
You're going around the bush. Why
No,
don't you
I'm not
just
going around the
say
bush.
that
I will.
the
No. You keep cutting me
definition
off. You keep cutting me off.
references
Hey,
Well, how fucking long do I have
no,
to
you
let
keep cutting me
talk?
off. I'm literally
Are
about to
you
say,
gonna make
like,
a point?
the very next sentence I'm gonna read from this will make it pretty clear that it's referring to gender. So,
Where is that, by the way, so I can look at it?
I posted it in general chat.
Sanzo, will you post it in the chat here?
I did.
It's already in there.
No, in the actual Discord, so I can see
It is in the Discord.
Somebody doesn't know how to
Right,
use
right.
Discord.
The
Got a boomer.
general, it's the only channel besides server info. Someone just tagged you in that, or I can just DM it to you.
Okay. Nope, I'm looking at it.
Okay.
All right.
Where does this come from?
This is the APA. If you look at the URL, it's the fucking APA.
What about this is sexual orientation. What's the definition of homosexual from the APA? Since we're talking about homosexuals.
wait.
not
Hold on.
Okay.
orientation.
Oh my
Really
god.
quick.
Oh,
Wait. Okay.
and
So-
he's starting to mold now. This is fucking hilarious. When we're talking about sexual orientation, like that's probably the definition that's going to be needed if you're talking about gay, straight, lesbian, all that shit. Just going with homosexuality or heterosexuality doesn't necessarily get the whole picture of sexuality. and BPF is gonna obviously ignore that.
But just so I can cut through the confusion, this is like the more in-depth, besides just like the 1 or 2 sentence definitions on their website. This is like the more in-depth thing, right?
So
and they come with their own separate links, so you can actually like look at where those definitions come from in those books too, which is also pretty useful.
Okay, so here, Andrew, wait, let me finish. Okay.
The link. So
Let me finish. Okay.
Finish, but I still need the link.
I gave you the
It's already
link.
up there.
No, I see that there's a cutout right here. But I don't see
And the
a
link is
Click
immediately
on it.
above the cutouts.
Yep.
Do you notice where it says https://www?
Go ahead, keep talking. Say
Okay.
what you gotta say.
So, oh god, there's like
I can almost
threads right now.
guarantee
So,
you that
first and
that
foremost,
BPF
it doesn't-
was just stalling here. There's no reason. Like, I'm looking at the Discord right now. It's just pure stalling. That's it. There's no way he wouldn't have seen it unless his like Discord was dog shit.
say homosexuals. It
It's
says
funny.
gay men and lesbians. I would hope that you would think that a gay man is a homosexual, like definitionally. Those are synonyms. And if you doubt that, as it's listing out sexual orientations, it says gay men, heterosexuals, and bisexuals. I think it's pretty clear, like contextually, that gay men and lesbians are homosexuals. So there you fucking go. But second off, so if you just cut it off at that first sentence that I read for you, it would kind of seem like it's based on sex. But if you read the very next sentence,
Okay, I'm gonna be honest here. Like, I think if you read to, let's see, if you read past this and went to the like down here, where it talks about outside of like the gender binary, then that would probably be a bit more clear. But again, I'm gonna like I keep stopping before you say stuff to see where you go from here.
you
But
would see that they're conflating sex and gender here. The very next sentence reads, some people identify as pansexual or queer in terms of their sexual orientation, which means they define their sexual orientation outside of the gender binary of male
yep, you
and
did.
female only.
okay,
So
then never
I would-
mind. That critique is now moot. I guess that's a product of me like going beforehand and saying, "Oh, does she do this?" But you did do that. That's good. That's also a good thing to note that the APA recognizes that there's a difference between gender and sex, and that they also refer to sexuality in terms of gender.
how good your reading comprehension is. But these two together makes it pretty clear that it's referring to referring to gender when it means sex. People tend to conflate them because the way that language exists now, if we're describing language descriptively, sex and gender do tend to be interchangeable. But if we're making a prescription, we can separate it out to refer to helpful concepts. That's what I did at the very.
This is a flowchart for gender constructions. It has nothing to do with the definition of homosexual.
It literally
at all.
is the definition of homosexuality.
Again, like the definition is of sexual orientation. Homosexuality falls under the category sexual orientation. BPF is being obtuse again.
You illiterate moron.
It's
There
not
we
a
go.
definition
It
for
is!
homosexual at all. What's the current definition by the
This
APA
is!
of
What-
homosexual? No,
Are you
it's
reading the
not.
same?
This-
Wait, no.
first of all,
Read the
I'm
fucking
looking-
blurb
It's
for me, okay?
one of the
Read
definitions.
it for me.
This is-
No,
If I
read
have to be nitpicky, it's one of those definitions. There's multiple definitions within the thing that you put in here, which to some degree also, let's see, hold on, both sexes. Like this here talks about sexes. This talks about sex. This talks about gender. This does talk about gender somewhat. If I were talking about just like men, women, both, neither, like this still talks about it in the context of a binary, I guess. No, it doesn't. Pansexual, never mind. But you know, if I have to be like really like. If I have to be like really nitpicky, it would be like definitions refer to both sex and gender, and that it's like not useful to like just go in one direction or the other. It's better to like make a prescriptive claim that it means gender rather than sex, and then make your claim that it makes more sense to go by gender.
it for me right now so that we know
related-
we're working the same thing.
Okay, hold on.
That are related to sexual orientation and gender diversity.
No,
That's what
really
we're
quick.
saying. So this is operating within the
No,
framework.
it's
Let me fucking
click that.
finish for once.
You're looking at the wrong
Galaxia.
thing.
Wait, really quick. Let's.
Your
Yeah.
source.
No problem.
Okay,
This
really
is
quick,
your
really quick.
source.
I want to hear what.
I'm looking
Okay,
at
I
my
wanna hear
source
what-
right now, and
Hold on, this is the moderator.
What
All
is
right.
the
I wanna
top
hear
of
what-
your
Wait,
source
Papa
says?
oh yeah,
says-
BPF source. Hold on. I need to see BPF source. Oh, he doesn't have a source. Did BPF provide a source, or was he in like DMs or something?
Papa Fash, just start over. Say your.
The top
say your
of
piece
the
and-
very
yeah.
top, it says definitions related to sexual orientations and gender diversity APA. This is a broad overview of the gender constructions that you're talking about via the APA.
do you
But
agree
they
that?
define homosexuality.
He doesn't provide it, but he lists the one you read out. Oh, he listed the first. He read the first one.
As being same-sex orientation. What you're talking about here is something that works within the confines of what you call gender construction. That's it. This is only a gender construction base. This is not the definition of homosexuality at all. Has nothing to do.
He's just being necessarily he's being unnecessarily obtuse, and also where the fuck, my cursor is gone. Fucking hell.
With it. This is just
There we go. We fixed
orientation
it.
that's trying to work within the confines of your bizarre gender bullshit.
And again, like if we look at the first definition here, or people who are gender queer, androgynous, or have other gender identities, like this right here specifically refers to like genders outside of the binary. Like, is this the definition right here, the first one? Is this the one that he read out? Because if this is the one that he also read out, then like he was definitely just yanking your chain a ton right here. Like there's no other explanation to it other than he was being a fucking piece of shit. No, oh, the online dictionary. Okay, gotcha. So that one, okay, we're good then.
Shit.
Yeah, for homosexuality, yeah, it was that one. Got it.
You asked me for the APA definition of homosexuality, and here it is laid out in front of you. I clipped it out for you to help you out. Do you want me to highlight it?
Definition. Does it say definition anywhere? Show me where.
Does it say definition? Does it say definition anywhere? It's in the name of the PDF. It's in the fucking PDF. It's in the URL. Let's go back up. And it's in the fucking title. It's down here. It says definition in multiple places. What a fucking clown, dude. What a fucking clown.
This is a the PDF is definitions.
Listen to what I'm saying to you.
I
Very
am
close.
listening to you. Like, look, do me a favor and look at the URL. It's apa.org/pi/LGBT/resources.
I like how you read it out, too.
Definitions.pdf.
Cut it off right there because it says gender
And
diversity.
and I can also tell that you get a lot more comfortable in this debate by the noticeable lack of stuttering at this point. I think once you've gotten a lot more comfortable, your speech impediment is kind of almost gone at that point. It's you become a lot more clear and a bit more confident sounding at that point. Which personally, I would have gone for blood sports early on, but no, it shows that you're getting into it. I like it.
Within a gender framework.
Wow, so the APA acknowledges gender? What a surprise!
Yep.
Of course, they are going to operate within.
And this is the part where BPF starts to lose here, right here. I think up to this point, it was a bit more of a tit for tat type thing, where BPF was being obtuse, but rhetorically he sounds right, but then right here is where he starts falling apart.
A gender framework for some of their studies. Duh.
What do you?
Nobody's saying that they wouldn't.
Why would they use conflicting definitions for? Oh my god.
Good question, but I have the definition from the APA of
okay.
homosexuality.
The
Postcard.
definition, even though like there's like multiple definitions of everything, and the APA uses multiple different definitions, but of course go off, King, about how this is the one sole true definition. Like I would have been, this is what I would have said right here. It's like, yes, the sacred singular definition of homosexuality. Yes, please bless us all with the definition that you think should trump over everything else, even though there's a document of like a bunch of definitions that would contradict the one that you're providing.
So you're saying that
This is a dictionary. Oh my
Are
god.
you claiming that their dictionary definition of homosexual?
I gave you their dictionary.
This is the current definition.
Okay, let me see here. Let me go back. To be fair, it's from not just one. It's not really from like dictionaries. More so is like this comes from the dictionary, and then other stuff is like based around like guidelines and like their documents on how to like deal with people, like guidelines for psychological practice with lesbian, gay, and bisexual clients. Guidelines for psychological practice with trans and gender nonconforming people. Resolution on gender and sexual orientation diversity. So like. This is the last one is an actual dictionary really, and then the other one it refers to like other things. No, I don't want to click that. It refers to like they do have like their own definitions, but they refer to like different things on how to like treat them, which I would argue is also like are valid sources in this case. And also, like, definitions aren't, like, one, definitions aren't a monolith, two, they aren't indicative of, like, truth value. And so, like, BPF's statement of, thank you for following Chloe Hoey. Wait, oh shit, this is the Chloe, the bomb posting. I recognize that name. But, welcome to the Bone Zone. But, you know, what I would have said here is that, like, go with, like, what like, Avi has said multiple times, that, like, definitions themselves are not, feeling bony, thanks. That definitions don't have, like, a truth value, and that, like, there can be conflicting definitions to things, and that, there is no, like, one true definition of a word. And then at that point, BPF has to then, argue why this is the most relevant definition, to which he would get, like, blown out in.
By the APA of homosexual.
All right, go
Sexual
ahead.
attraction or activity between members of the same sex. Although the term can refer to homosexual orientation of both men and women, current practices distinguish.
And also this definition that he provides talks about attraction and not necessarily just the action itself, which is also funny. Like I would have docked him on that too. I like that right there, like. That blows away his whole, like, it's only about the action argument that he can make, that he has made before.
Lesbians and homosexuality itself is commonly referred to as same sexual orientation or activity. That's from their own dictionary. So either A, we have a conflict where the APA is defining these things in two different ways, or we have to look at this and say that this is some type of construction that's within a different framework that they're talking about. So you tell me which one it is.
So it's actually the first one, and I'll explain why. So in the dictionary that I also gave, you'll notice that it refers to sex, but contextually, based on the full definition, it's clear that it's referring to gender. So if the I'm hearing an echo.
Yeah. Andrew, you're echoing again for some reason.
My gain's down. Go ahead.
All right. So it's pretty. If we use like logic for a second, if we have one definition that uses sex in a certain way, and another definition from the same organization that also uses sex but elaborates on it more, it makes it pretty clear it's referring to gender, and it's just conflating the terms. I think it's a pretty reasonable step of logic to say, okay, when they mean sex, they're referring to gender in this way. And we can see that from the full definition.
I'd say that like the APA is very confusing sometimes when it comes to this stuff. Like the fact that it conflates like gender and sex in its definitions of sexual orientation is kind of weird. And that I think in like in like a future, I guess they should probably look to analyze their current definitions and make some revisions based on like whether they mean sex or like gender. But of course, like any big organization is gonna have like conflicting definitions on some things.
This is also a dictionary from the APA.
It's the opposite, and when you're saying gender,
course.
you're referring to sex
No, I'm
in a
not.
specific way.
No, I'm not.
Not you, and not Transformers, but everybody else at large.
And then
Everybody else at
he just
large
keeps
is
insulting trans
referring to
people. Love it.
that way. There's no doubt.
Transformers, like yes, we know you're a fucking bigot. Like, congrats. At that point, I would have said like, hey, did you get that out of your system now, buddy? And then moved on. Like again, like this stuff right there, I would have like picked that. Like personally, like I'm the kind of person that will. I'm the kind of person that will that knows people's, I guess, what's the word, weak spots. Really, I can pick on people. I can get on their nerves. It's something that I've like noticed since I was like a kid, that I can like, you know, just be like ha ha ha, ha about this and, you know, piss people off. And I used to only like view it as like a fairly like negative trait, but like looking at this now, like I could definitely like fucking mess with the BPF a lot.
Okay.
Mike, okay, really quick.
Interesting.
I wanna step in here. So the thing that I want to see here is if the APA definition isn't good enough, right? What definition should we use, and we can try and go from there, I guess.
If you want another one, here's fucking here's a
You still haven't asked. You still haven't really answered the question.
I did. Like,
If this is gender based, for a person to say, well, it's opposite gender. That's what you said. It's opposite gender attraction. What about people who have no gender, classify themselves as genderless? You're going to put homosexuality as being subjective and up to the individual?
funny enough.
Yes. Exactly. This one I would bite the bullet super hard and be like, yes, it is dependent on like what I feel like I am attracted to at that point. And for me, like, I'm attracted to women. I like is a category. Like, there are some cute trans women, there's some cute cis women, and there's also like cute femme non-binary folk. And like, I'm like they're more feminine presenting. Therefore, I am man. Femme presenting folk, I am straight. Therefore, based on those definitions. Now, there could also like be some leeway with that, but for the most part, like, I would consider myself straight right there.
That's how categories work.
That's not how categories work.
Yes, there is.
No.
Like you can't just like neatly like put people into like a category where they're only like if we're gonna go by BPF's whole thing, where it's supposed to be, I guess, by like whatever their biological sex is at that point. They're assigned sex at birth, which I don't think is like that useful. Because again, like, I think I've like mentioned this earlier, like, it doesn't define, like, it doesn't get our like full scope of attraction. Like, by that definition, like, you could like go extrapolate to like really weird things from this.
Story on something, and it like there's gonna be wiggle room at the margins. But anyway, I already told you.
Wait, no,
wait. Don't cut me off. I'm gonna answer your question.
Oh yeah, BPF
Answer
key.
your question.
At this point, I would have like just muted BPF on my end for like a little bit and then speak, but it wouldn't have sounded right. I guess in like Sansol's point of view. But
I'm gonna answer your question.
it's also probably like bad debate etiquette.
1 second. I'm gonna mute you really quick, Papa Fascist. Actually, I guess it won't let me for some reason. So, really
Just
quick.
let Galaxia go. It's fine.
Yeah.
Staroxvia. But anyway, I've already answered this. I told you relatively early on that when I say it's based on same gender, it's based. I think caveat that it's based.
I think at this point is when I started watching initially. So at this point, I think I've got like a little bit more of an idea.
So someone who is agender, if, like whether someone is attracted to them or not would be based on whether they present more masc or femininely, or if other people perceive them in those ways. This is a really like it's pretty easy like solution. It's kind of obvious that it would need to work like that because your attraction isn't based on sort of like factors you can't see. It's based entirely on things you can see.
Oh, and by the way, it turns out Galaxia is the name of a oh. Wow. That's great. Okay. Wow. Okay. So he was that petty. Holy shit. So it wasn't just like intentionally like just misnaming it. That was just boomer transphobia. Damn. That is oof.
See. So like I don't understand.
I don't really have much to say out of that besides like yikes. Like the fact that he had to go through that like is another indication that he doesn't like trans folk at all. Like, and that people should treat him in bad faith.
Like why that's so difficult, but
Okay, so why is it less difficult? Why is it less difficult to associate sex with the phenomenon of sex?
I'm sure it's easier for you. It's just wrong.
It's easier for everybody
No,
on
it's
planet
not.
Earth.
It's pretty easy.
Considering, so you think it's better to make a gender prescription for all of the people in the United States, the rest of the 96 to 97% of people who are fine being within the category of sex and use gender and sex interchangeably, we have to...
I have no idea where it gets the 96 to 97% that from. But also, like, it's just, again, a Eurocentric viewpoint. That people think of it as, like, people think that sex and gender are the same thing.
change every way that we look at society in order to
It's happened before BPF.
accommodate Galaxia.
I guess like you could use terminology that's less helpful. Me personally.
Okay, so here's what I would say in response to that. Like, one, like, it's happened before where we change our perceptions of things to, like, fit the culture or the time period that we're in. And, like, two, we already referred to, like, we already use gender, and then you go into the, like, ways you use gender instead of sex. Like, I'm not going to go up to someone and be like, let me karyotype you. Let me, like, take a fucking, like, a chromosome test of you so I can figure out whether or not you're a woman or not. Because, like, that's, for one, that's, like, unhelpful. And for two, you just look really fucking weird. Like, no one's going to, for one, no one knows what the word karyotyping means. Like that right there in of itself is just really fucking like that shows that you're trying to sound all like big and snotty and all that, but and another thing, like, it takes a while, and for three, like, why the fuck does that matter? And then, like, also looking at their genitalia to determine if they're a man or a woman. Two issues with that. One, ew, you're weird if you have to do that. And two, like, people who get vaginoplasties or phalloplasties, and like, trans people who do that, like, you can pass down there, and, like, no one would know unless they were really a keen eye. And at that point, again, like, I would be very concerned about their intentions. like any way you look at it, if you try to go based on sex, it's, like, not useful.
I know. Don't cut me off. I personally prefer to have terminology. Why would you immediately cut me off? Why would you do that? Like, why would you let me speak?
BPF is such a child. It's so fucking hilarious.
Like, what is your bent? Okay, so me personally,
He's such a child.
I prefer to have terminology that helps us understand things. And again, I would ask that you work within the framework that I'm presenting, because I'm trying to present to you a way to understand the concepts that are going on. I would say for most people who understand attraction based on sex, that it's just like inaccurate to do so, because
No, it's
wait, can I finish?
Almost done.
God.
All right.
How much time do you get to talk versus me, Sanzo? How much
Oh,
time?
he's getting mad. He's getting mad.
As long as it takes to finish it.
Well,
As long as it can
really
finish a
quick,
sentence.
The only reason is because you finish your statements and you ask questions, and then you seem to be finished talking. If you need to
Nice.
talk longer,
And
I'll-
Galaxia over here has to go on these long.
Well, he keeps using
Yes,
he just keeps using
It's-
Galaxia. God damn, he's He's just mad now.
Funny enough, it takes effort to explain things in a clear way for you to understand. Anyway, so so to me personally, I find
Like, I think at some point I would have been like, how do I know that you're a man? And he would have gone down his whole, like, I produce small gaming side of children. It's like, no, at that point I would have been like, yeah, no, show me your karyotype, and then that would have probably been a way to, like, get at him, I guess. I don't know. Like, I would probably try that
off of some
tactic.
quality that you can't really necessarily see. It makes more
I don't think he realized I was, like, 2 when that movie came out. Well, I mean, it makes sense.
sense to say it's based off of what people perceive. Like for example, if we take a heterosexual man and we put him like in a bar, right, and he sees someone that he perceives to be a woman, do you think that he's capable?
Oh, here comes the hair example. This one made me laugh.
Being attracted to that person that he perceives to be a woman.
Yes, of course, based on
Even
second.
wait.
No.
Okay, go ahead.
We asked me a question.
Hold on,
and
let me.
I'm
I
trying
need to
to
look at this
answer
again.
it.
Hold on.
If we take a heterosexual man and we put him like in a bar, right, and he sees someone that he perceives to be a woman, do you think that he's capable of being attracted to that person that he perceives?
Okay, so this person perceives the person at the bar to be a woman. Gotcha.
To be a
Okay.
woman.
Yes, of course, based on.
Damn. That's it right there. That's the end of the debate right there. That's the point where he now concedes that it's based on gender. Done. Easy. This heterosexual guy perceives this person to be a woman. Done. Right there. No further, and now he has to step back. He got trapped. Done.
Even
Second,
wait.
based on
Not-
No.
Okay, go
We
ahead.
asked me a question and I'm trying to fucking answer it.
Okay.
Based on secondary sex characteristics.
Which again, like, which again can refer to like trans people who have undergone HRT or cis women, like, which again we're going back into gender again.
Yes.
Okay. And if this perceived woman ends up turning out to be like
Like if we're going based on like transmed, like if we're going like that deep into it, like that would be like the most, like, I guess, like based on a transmed perspective. I don't know if that makes sense.
logical male, does that mean that, like, what do we say for his attract? Is he
would be very
bisexual
mad.
now? Because
I think he would be very upset that this person.
And now BPF will not engage with the question, and at that point I would keep pressing.
Presented themselves as being something that they weren't.
Because now at this point, this is now his feelings. This is him projecting his feelings. He's like, I've been fooled. This person has fooled me. They have deceived me. When in reality, like he's like he gets super close to understanding like that gender is performative in a sense, but then he perverts the performance in a way that frames it in a way that is deceptive to him. Like, that is his perspective on gender performance, that you can be deceived into thinking that this person was not the gender that they were claiming to be, and that this person was then had the intent of lying. And at that point, he's already conceded that, like, it's that human attraction is based on gender, and now he's trying to like backpedal it into some way where he comes out on top.
is it
But
even
it
like
is
this
possible.
isn't even like a trans
Wait,
person?
really quick,
This is just.
No, let me
Wait,
finish.
let me finish.
It is
I love how you're reading
possible.
reading into things. Like,
It is
Like, he's basically
possible
taking the assumption of the transpanic defense.
that a straight man can see secondary sex characteristics they associate with female women that have been artificially, put on.
Nope. It's natural. It occurs naturally when you change your hormones. Yeah, when you when you start to undergoing puberty, like your hormones kind of do all the work for you there. So it's a natural process that your body goes through. It's not unnatural in that case.
A male, the Hollywood effect, for instance, the same reason that you can perceive what a predator is, even though it doesn't really exist. I think a person can see a secondary sex.
This is weird.
characteristic, and yes, they can be attracted to it without knowing that that's not an actual man or an actual woman. That
okay.
does happen. albeit I think it's rare. I don't think the amount of you fuckers who run around and claim that you're passing is nearly as many as you claim it is. But
And oh boy, if I ever get into a debate with Big Papa Fascist on like the gender and stuff, I'm going to use that chart that you provided, that you provided me in that like Twitter combo. I will use that, like that right there. I want to like fuck with them with that chart. It's gonna be so fucking great when I do, because it's because that whole statement's like. He's the whole claim that very few of you pass, like you can be surprised. Feel free to correct me, but it's hilarious that he's saying that as I'm passing in front of him right now. I mean, yeah. I think the only reason why like he said he's doing this is because like he knows that you're trans, and so at that point he can't make the do you pass or do you not thing. Like you obviously pass. This is just very easily you would look like a very like skinny girl in that case, like, or you do look like a skinny girl, but that's the only reason you can do that. Like if you like didn't say that you were like a trans or cis, like again he would have to attempt to make that like assumption in real time. And there are some people like even on Twitch like who are trans who pass really well. And like the few that come to mind right now are actually no, I probably shouldn't say that list, because then like no. I probably shouldn't. No. Yeah. That would probably be really controversial. Yeah, don't. Yeah.
But I think it probably does happen. Based on
honest to God, I've had IRL arguments with transphobes where they gendered me correctly because they couldn't tell. Nice.
My guy, people were confusing me for a woman before I even knew I was trans. But anyway,
my
when people accidentally gender you correctly, that's probably like the best part right there. Let's see. Like I can only imagine what that's like to like have someone like accidentally gender you correctly as they're debating your existence, or to like you're like a yeah.
Guy.
I mean, are you not a guy? Would you like me to use different language? All right. I mean,
Okay, we're gonna let Roxie go now.
Okay.
And BPF is just gonna keep breaking down. That's gonna be great.
So bad. With this my guy shit. Stop with the my guy shit.
I've muted you on the stream, Papa Fascist. All right, Roxie, go ahead.
Okay.
He's such a baby. It's
I
fucking
never
hilarious.
said that this person was trying to present as a woman. I just said that that the initial guy in the scenario just perceived them to be a woman. Maybe like he just had long hair. Like he just had, and I think you would agree that long hair isn't a secondary sexual characteristic. Had long, just had long hair.
Oh no, he's gonna die on this hill next. Big Papa Fascist is gonna die on this hill next.
And sort of,
it's gonna be great.
Sort of just like androgynous clothes. So,
actually, it can be a secondary sexual character.
Oh my god, that is what that word means. Oh my god.
Let him finish.
Okay, go ahead.
As long
This is where I started losing it.
as we associate it with females, yes, it can be a secondary sex characteristic, albeit.
Alright, so for the record, like I have fairly long hair. Like I'm gonna turn around right here, like this hair goes down to my shoulders. And I need to like trim it up a bit, but like this would, according to Big Papa Fascist, be something that's feminine, and at that point I would ask him to go to the Nords back then, where lots of Vikings, they had pretty decent hair. Lots of people back in the day had like really long poofy hair. Back in the 1700s, I'm assuming. I'm medically diagnosing you as intersex because you have long hair. And there we go. There we have it. I am now intersex. Just fuck. Because I've allowed my hair to grow. Oh, this is such a fucking stupid argument from BPF. I love it.
It's not generally what would be considered a secondary sex characteristic.
Wait. That's better. It's like, it's not generally considered a secondary sex characteristic, but I'm gonna do it anyways because he wants to die on a fucking hill like this.
Yes, it can be.
So we need to hammer out definitions real quick. Secondary sexual characteristics refer to biologically sexual dimorphic traits that are usually the resultant differences in hormones.
The most like the one thing that comes to mind specifically would be, or at least two, or no, yeah, I'll use this one, would be like typically more feminine folk are a bit curvier, and then men are a bit more blocky, I guess. Like it kind of kind of messes with our little shapes, as they say.
Long hair is not a secondary sexual characteristic because, funny enough,
well, actually, it would be a secondary.
No, it wouldn't be. No, it wouldn't be.
That definition,
No, it wouldn't be.
Yeah,
Do you think?
yeah.
And this is where he goes into body
Do you
hair.
think estrogen gives women long hair? Is that why women grow their hair out because they have more estrogen?
All right, guys. Guess what, guys? I am actually on HRT because I have long hair. That's it. I've been hiding this from y'all for so long. Like I'm actually like 30 years on HRT, and this is the result. I have long hair now. Fucking, I'm gonna fucking die.
I think that estrogen
It's so
doesn't
dumb.
produce nearly as much body hair. Yes, absolutely.
I said long hair. Like that was
But that's
unrelated to
part
what I
of hair
said.
and long hair. That's part of it.
Do you think I was referring to anything but head hair? Like.
This is another incident of BPF being obtuse.
Well, you weren't specific.
Wait.
on it.
Do you think when I said
were not
long hair?
specific. You were
Do
not
you think when I said long hair that I was referring to body hair? That women have typically have have longer body hair? Is that what you thought I meant?
No, what I'm saying is that hair in and of itself can be a secondary sex
okay.
characteristic.
Also, there's nothing wrong with women having body hair, not at all. Like personally, I'm fine with it. Like I'm just gonna be like fucking honest. Like if you have body hair, great, cool. All humans have body hair of sorts. Like I'm not gonna.
Oh my god!
I was
Okay,
referring
great.
to head hair.
That's an
obviously.
opinion.
Like,
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
what the fuck are you on about? Like
Wait, let him answer because I
okay.
don't know what his point is here.
he doesn't have a point. Like
He doesn't have a point.
That's an
So
opinion.
one
Just
more
kidding,
time,
don't worry.
men are attracted, and women, to secondary sex characteristics. We know this because sex is binary. It's
No, this is another hill that he's gonna die on so hard.
always going to be binary, and so this is why this exists.
I'm gonna wait for my commentary on the gender binary versus bimodal thing until that part of the debate happens, because I've debated this before multiple times.
Within your framework, you try to achieve something called a bimodal model, which is fucking stupid, makes no sense, and doesn't actually do anything productive for anybody.
I'm sure. Okay, God. Every time you speak,
I'm sure biologists would have loved to hear a Big Papa fascist take on this, because that's what we were missing in this. We needed some like angry cigarette smoking like fucking like asshat to tell us to tell biologists what if sex is binary or not.
Three things to latch
Fucking hell.
onto. I want to nail you on this point. So I didn't describe any sexual characteristics of the person who's perceived to be a woman. I said that they had long head hair and androgynous
say
clothing.
He doesn't know what bimodal means. Yeah, at this point I've like seen the rest of this debate. He doesn't.
I
didn't say.
Okay, I meant it. I think a reasonable person would have assumed that I meant
Okay.
that. Okay,
Well, that's what I
here.
meant,
I
though.
apologize for my lack of clarity. Let me clarify.
Also, like reading the chat, long armpit hair is cooler. Like hell yeah, if you can grow long armpit hair, like go for it. That shit's cool. Like braid the armpit hair if you can.
God. Okay, so the man in question sees someone at the bar who has long hair and androgynous clothes, and this is all they perceive, and they're attracted to them. Would you agree then that they're still heterosexual because they I can't hear you.
I didn't
Okay.
hear the last question.
Okay.
I think
so
I cut out for both of us.
Okay. So We have a heterosexual man in a bar. He sees someone on the outside of the bar. The only things that he notices are long head hair and androgynous clothing, and he perceives this person to be a woman. Like
Okay.
if he is attracted to this person, does it make him bisexual if it turns
No.
out that he's a man?
Because he's looking at secondary sex characteristics.
No,
but the
oh my.
Yep, and again, BPF makes the concession again right here. And now we're talking about he knows that attraction's based on gender and gender perception. And again, like this is where he concedes. Like at this point, I would have hammered then. So you concede that. Like when he said no, like that's it. That's the end of the debate again, right there.
Oh my god! What secondary sexual characteristics did I name?
What do you mean? Well, inside his paradigm,
And again, like BPF is dying on this hill for no
he
reason,
thinks when he takes your pants off, there's going to be a vagina.
and that's his problem. Like okay, like this is BPF conflating sex and gender right here. He's assuming that there's gonna be the person in question, I guess, if it even goes that far. Like again, like the act of like taking off clothes at that point is like something a bit far removed from like, oh, this person's attractive, which
Oh my god!
like BPF has to like go this far to try and make his point clear.
God. Okay. The only two characteristics that I ascribe to this person in the hypothetical is that
Like for all we know, that this person has no genitals at all. Like, this person has none, zero genitals, none, no dick, no vagina, no nothing. They just have an asshole. Done, easy. And BPF has two assholes, but one of them happens to be where his mouth is located. But you know, we can't all spew as much shit as him.
Let me
They're
finish.
referring-
Making fun of the speech impediment again. Let's go. Or not? Actually, no, not even that. Just making fun of someone's speech patterns earlier. Just making fun of like your attempt to like interrupt them. It's just childish.
Man thinks that they're looking at a female. So the assumption that they make is
They're looking at a woman, not a female. But okay.
that this female has the sex characteristics that go.
He's now changed the fucking he has now changed the rules here of this hypothetical. You said that this person perceives the person at the bar to be a woman. BPF is now adding an additional assumption, which is, or two really, is that this person is now conflating sex and gender, and that the sex is a female. The person assumes that the sex is female, which would change the entire thing. So, like, again, this is just mute. This is moot
Female.
point.
Otherwise,
Okay.
they would not take
So,
the female
what-
home. Now,
so-
if they knew that for a second, let's say that this isn't
I would have probably hammered him on the fact that he's now changed the scenario.
a category error, which it is. Now, let's say that the man with
And also he doesn't know what a category error really is. No. Because in order for like the category error to work, you have to believe that sex is the same thing as gender. And that you've somehow been fooled into believing that this person is the quote unquote the gender that you were attracted to, but you know they lied, they deceived you, and all that shit. Like no, like the category error only exists whereas people would say that sex and gender are the same.
androgynous clothing and the long hair that the heterosexual man is looking at and makes the presupposition that this is a female with female genitalia, turns around and flashes his dick at the guy. Do you think that might change the situation?
It could.
This part is probably a little awkward here. Saying that it could, like, I would have been like, oh yeah, you've just been flashed. Like, I wouldn't want to be flashed by anyone. Like, to be honest, like if I were going to a bar, I would want to drink, not to get like flashed by some random person.
Could.
But sure.
But give it.
No, no,
wait,
no,
wait,
no,
wait,
no.
let me finish. You
Fuck that.
asked
What
a
do you
question.
Yeah. Speak for yourself. I mean, like, I mean, like, sure, if someone does that, it's probably gonna like make me pretty like uncomfortable. I'm like, okay. Like, I might be like lying to myself because I've never really been in that scenario. But like, yeah, imagine not going to a strip bar. I mean, I don't know. It's probably contextual.
Question, and then let me answer.
Maybe it would, possibly.
Yeah, again, like the only assumptions are like that this is a man going to a bar, sees like a person with long hair and androgynous clothing, and perceives them to be a woman. Like again, like this is just true. Like this could change. Like maybe this person doesn't mind seeing a dick. Like again, like, this is just BPF being obtuse again, because he only knows that there's only heterosexual attraction, and then there's like the demon spawnings of Satan, who deem otherwise, I guess.
Would you ask me a question and then cut me off when I start answering it? What the fuck?
Yeah, there's only like heterosexuality, and then there's political, and then there's aura, I guess, like the Satan thing.
Okay. So perhaps, but given that porn of trans women is incredibly popular, it's like the 12th
I like the
search among
statistic.
men. And given that the people who watch trans porn are like 79% heterosexual men.
This is something that I personally like didn't know existed until you brought it up. That's actually really funny.
I would say that it may not necessarily change his attraction.
Like it just literally like blows apart like his whole like maybe it changes it. Like capitalism is better. Damn, you, holy shit, you got me, Santa _ XPT. Ooh, the S word. We can't have the S word. Sorry, buddy. That's this is Twitch, man. We can't have that. But also, like, you can hold on.
If you still perceive this person to be,
but also you can talk about why capitalism is mega poggers after that. So, have fun with your little 10-minute break. Sorry, bud. This is not your time to be a shit poster. You can do that on your own time or after this debate thing is over.
Be a woman.
Well, then wait. Then he would be assuming that that's a trans woman.
Well, it's. I guess in this case he would think, oh, they're a trans woman, but like,
yeah.
But we're assuming that they're still perceiving like them to be a woman.
Perceiving.
Like again, like any like prescription that BPF is making at this point is just fundamentally changing the scenario at hand.
Based on what they're seeing, they're making a presupposition that there are other things going on there rather than a cock and balls. That's what they're thinking.
No. I literally just told you that it's
now,
okay.
If they had more information, it would no longer be a category error, and they would make a completely different decision.
You're like so close to like you
outlined
what
he's
I
just being deliberately obtuse.
Refused to accept it.
At that point,
I said that attraction.
Like at this point, I would have just kept calling him out for changing the scenario. At this point. Like yeah, sure, you could probably change your perception of the person if they're a trans woman. Like, sure, that probably exists. That does happen. But they still perceive this person as a woman. Like, this is a woman that he's seeing. Like, the fact that this person is that he's seeing is trans doesn't make a difference. Like, at all.
Let me finish. I said that attraction occurs on the basis of perceived gender. You agreed that this person perceived them to be a woman.
Yep.
And this was attractive.
He agreed to you like twice at this point. Like you should have already been like dogging him on this more, if I'm honest, because that would have one like pissed him off, and like two like you just caught him. Like you need to. Like, in these situations, you kind of need to capitalize on that and kind of just keep piling it on with people like Big Papa Fascist. Otherwise, they'll just keep spewing, like, complete nonsense to, like, detract from the overall conversation.
So you agree with me? You agree with me?
Really quick, let me hear what Big Papa Fascist has to say now.
All you did was give an example where you said, it's possible that there's a person in a bar.
I didn't take Adderall yesterday, so I didn't realize I had him pinned. Yeah, fair enough.
Who sees an androgynous dressed person?
Like I'm looking at this like what's the word I'm looking? What's the phrase? Wow. Hindsight is 2020. Wow, that took me a minute to figure out. Like, I myself am not that like great at debating either. So I probably might have like those same issues if I've like gone into them. But like it happens. I'm not perfect. I've definitely had situations where that's happened before too with me, but yeah, no, like in this scenario, if I were like Giga Chad and my perfect debate skills, like that's what I would have done.
Long hair and they're attracted to them, so we assume there's a presupposition there. But assuming that there isn't, that would probably be highly rare because people are attracted to secondary sex characteristics.
Is long hair a secondary sexual characteristic?
If they weren't, no, but the minute long head hair, I assume you mean.
Yes.
This time, okay. So the thing is
Got
that
him.
are transgenders running out and getting long hair, or are they getting boobs?
Yes, I would have said yes. Just fucking yes. Yeah, well, yes and no actually. Like there are probably some trans people who have like short hair because they like it.
They're usually getting both. The trans women usually get long hair and boobs. So
they're usually getting boobs because most men,
They're
right, aren't.
They're also getting long hair. I have no idea what this point is.
Looking at the
So
secondary
dumb.
sex characteristics as other than boobs, ass, things like this. Okay, this is what they're looking at. What you call trans women, right? They're literally getting surgeries in order to produce in their body secondary sex characteristics that they think is going to make the opposite sex attractive, or they think that these are the secondary sex characteristics that most women have, etc., 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 etc.
Because it's because it conforms to their gender identity. Like that's it, right? Like that end right there. And he just starts talking about how he loves tits and hat. Yep. It's so fucking stupid.
But as far as attraction goes, you're getting a lame hypothetical where there could be all kinds of presupposition involved.
He made multiple presuppositions to change the scenario. Like he didn't engage with this. Like at this point, I would have been like, you didn't engage with this properly. Like you're just complaining you're just bitching, dude. Like I'm sorry that you're incapable of handling like a very simple scenario about attraction. And also because he has to also say this because he's conceded within that scenario that that attraction's based on gender.
I
Right.
gave you the only
You
necessary
said- and
presupposition.
The reason I know there's a presupposition is because you said
told
it's a
you one.
heterosexual. You said it's a heterosexual man who
Yeah.
sees long hair and androgynous
Mhm.
clothing. If it's a heterosexual man, then he has to be making the presupposition that this is a woman.
I told you that too. I
Mhm.
outright told you that he assumes her to be a woman.
well, and do you think that
Really
his
quick?
opinion
Yep,
might
he's
drastically change?
just incapable of understanding the hypothetical, or either that or he's deliberately not understanding it.
The second he knows that there's a dick and balls involved.
Well, not necessarily that
hold
there's a
thought,
dick,
hold
but
that
if you
thought really
okay.
quick.
All right.
Wait, hold that thought. Okay, really quick, just letting you guys know we're at like the 30-minute mark. And
Like what if this was a what if this was like a trans dude who had like long hair, and this person had a vagina? Like, would that change things? Like, of course things change. But of course not. Then
do
everything.
this for,
The whole scenario just now changes. Like you could like go down like a whole like, oh, what if it was this person or this person, and then at that point I'd be making different scenarios, which is what BPF has been making this whole time.
hour and 15 minutes. So just
Yeah,
letting you know, it's
distract.
the 30 like halfway mark. And
Alright.
if you guys want to,
All right.
change topic for the second half or whatever you want to do.
I'll finish this point and then we can like reassess the conversation. So I wouldn't say dick and balls because some straight men are very into dick and balls. But if you're saying that, but if you're saying that his perception of their gender changes, yeah, his attraction would change because attraction is based on perceived gender. Thank you for
No,
agreeing
okay.
with me.
No, it's sex. Everything.
No,
you
it's
just said is
perceived
sex.
gender.
The precept.
He's not even agreeing with himself. At that point, I would have been like, no, you've already agreed with me. Stop. At that point, you would have. I would have just been like, you end the debate right there. Just get that sound clip, those sound bites where he agreed with you, and just like replay them. Though I'm pretty sure most people can't like edit audio in real time and keep up with the debate, and I definitely can't. But I can just imagine like just constantly like pressing like a singular button to like keep echoing out that sound bite where he agrees with you and just pissing him off.
Supposition.
Like this works too.
The sex is the correct sex that they would be attracted to. Sex is binary. If it's a heterosexual man, they're only going to be attracted to what?
And he retreats to the talking points because he's lost.
Opposite sex. That's it. That's all they can be attracted to, Galaxia. They can't be attracted to anything else because they're heterosexual by your definition.
Okay. So, do you want to pivot? Do you want to pivot into the bi-modality of sex? Because all
right, so I'm gonna stop right here for a moment and like make this well known. Like I have had this debate multiple times, both on like Twitter and on my stream, and evidently on Sonsol's stream with this one kid called Roxie. He was, I think he was one of Infrared's mods at the time. This was like months ago, and he's like some like a dipshit communist type person. And I personally I've brought up Avi's his syllogism, and I know you brought this syllogism up too. And and I just remember like hammering that in like the first time, and then when Retri and I had actually like a proper debate on like trans issues in general, like I had to like hammer him on that too again, and just the fact that people have to like twist how we perceive like biology in such a way where it attempts to like constrict into a binary, and even then it fails at every conceivable point is just. It's fucking beautiful seeing the mental gymnastics, and this is the part of the debate where I just really enjoyed it because I knew that BPF was talking out of his ass the whole time. This is gonna be great. I'm gonna fucking laugh so much.
I think we've run this thread into the ground.
We literally went full circle.
Whatever you'd like to talk about.
Okay, so you keep insisting that sex is binary. This is categorically not the case.
Oh,
because
it is.
Okay, here. I want you to do me a favor real quick. Define what a binary is.
A 2.
Okay.
Yep, he cleared the bar. He knows what a binary is.
Beyond those two, does it cease to be a binary?
Yes.
Okay. So if
and this is the trap. This is the trap right here. He's trapped right here. The moment you put up a scenario where it breaks the binary, his argument's over, and it's beautiful.
For people who are neither male nor female because they're intersex, does that mean that sex?
There's none. They all have a primary sex characteristic based on gamete production or perceived gamete production.
Oh, here we go. he has to add in the orb perceived. Mainly to like attempt to explain away like people who've produced like no gametes, just like from birth. And even then like he's still wrong, but here we go.
Every single gametes are completely binary. You can only produce ova, or you can only produce sperm, and that's it.
What if someone produces neither?
That's fine.
The first scenario would have gone into is both. Like I would have said, I would have slowed this down over said, okay, yes, the gametes themselves are binary. They're only like ova and sperm, but then moved it back to like gametic entailment, which would mean like these people produce eggs, sperm, and then people who have produced both eggs and sperm, and then people who produce none. Like I would have started from the gametes, moved back to gametic entailment, and then gone first for the both in this case.
They always go off the physiology of what you were supposed to be able to produce.
What do you mean supposed to be? Like there is no supposed to be.
For instance, there can be women who have a hysterectomy, right? We can agree that they don't produce gametes, right?
Yes, I would agree that. No. I'm not okay.
And another indication that BPF doesn't know biology. Yes, the hysterectomy, which removes the ovaries. Yes, of course it. That's totally what a hysterectomy is, and it would be so sad if someone looked it up and it was like, oh shit, the uterus or the womb. Oh god. Oh, somebody should have looked that up. Anyway, beforehand, BPF.
Okay, wait, this is a
I'm
dumb.
trying to
Wait,
answer
hang
and
on.
I'll
This is a
get
dumb
back.
point, but you're a fucking idiot. A hysterectomy removes the uterus, not ovaries. It's
Okay, whatever. If you remove whatever the sex characteristic,
it's an
primary
oophorectomy is the term.
character-
Oof.
right? We can still say whatever.
That's an
is-
oof for BPF right
We
there.
can still say what they were supposed to be able to produce. Always.
Alright.
And that includes with intersex people, people with XXY chromosomes, people with XXX chromosomes, etc., etc., etc.
I can't wait. I can't wait for this.
There has now in biology, there has been extraordinarily rare cases of what's called chimerism.
and he debunks himself. He debunks himself in his own argument, and it's just, oh my god, it takes a special kind of person to debunk your own argument and then like continuously try to like substantiate your argument after that. Like this man like understood or claims to understand what a binary is, and even conceded that if there's something that exists out of the binary, that disproves the binary, and he disproves himself immediately, and it was fucking hilarious. I didn't even catch this at the time because it's not relevant, but this is even what chimerism is. Lol. Wait, hold on. Let me see. I'm pretty sure chimerism has to do with like species, right? Or chimera. Hold on. No. Okay. Chimera is a genetic chimera. Wait, no. It's more than one. Okay, so it's like both man and woman. That's right. Okay. Or like two different sets of. Wait, this is two different sets of DNA. Hold on. Which can be both a man and woman's DNA, right? Hold on. Because I don't even think this is relevant at that point then. Right. Imagine like two fraternal twins fusing back together in the womb. Yeah, this is what I'm thinking. Genitals have both like male and female parts. They're like sexually unclear. Yeah. No, this is still relevant. Like, we're talking about gametic entailment. Like, yeah. He said it's specifically having both like testes and ovaries. I mean, that's part of it, yeah. That can be part of it. But it's not specifically that. So, in a way, he like got his definitions twisted up again. But even I think I messed up the definition a little bit just now. Like, I could probably allow that, and probably just clarify on its own.
Okay, but we're talking cases.
But like with like the repeated like shit that he's pulled, I would probably take it a little bit more condescendingly.
This is like 1, 2, 3, or 4. It's so rare, where it's possible that there could be a dual gamete production, but it's super rare.
Yep.
So-
Wait, and this right here, where he says both gametes are being produced, and it's like super, super rare. And he admits earlier that if there's something that falls outside of a binary, there's no longer a binary. Like that right there, I lost it right there. Because the lack of self-awareness that you have to like say like two completely contradictory things right there. To like insist that there's a binary and also say that there's exceptions to a binary, like it's just so fucking amazing. Like I just lose it. It's great. It's just so great listening to this. I have no idea why he gave that to me. It could have just kept insisting that intersex people aren't real, and you would have floundered. Yeah, he like gave you that so hard. Like he just conceded that entire debate right there. Like you just won without even like attempting to win. Like this is like getting like an own goal, by having like your teammates like pass to you in soccer and you are the goalie, and then you just like throw the ball into your net. You just throw it straight into your net. Like that's the equivalent. It's just wow. Like that is the amount that he just like conceded is
So
fucking
what you're
hilarious.
saying is there are cases where it's neither of the two. So
No,
it's not a
still
binary.
2. No, it's still 2.
No, it's not because they're neither
Yeah,
of the
it's
two.
still 2 because it's only 2.
Yep, that's it.
But the individual is neither of the
Tell
two.
me what the third sex is. Then.
It's not a third sex. It's bimodal.
No, it's binary.
It's bimodal.
Binary.
At that point, I would have actually like bit the bullet and said, yes, having both gametes being produced would be considered a third sex if we're talking about gametic entailment. That's what I would have bit the bullet on that. Though I understand why you didn't, because like that would have sounded like really absurd to people who don't understand biology, like BPF. Like personally, I think that would have probably been a mistake on my no. I don't remember if I like made that distinction really. Like I would have just bitten the bullet just for that sake. Like that would be categorized as a third sex if we're talking gametic entailment, specifically because that's what BPF is trying to go for. Because that's the definition he's trying to operate under at this point. Even if it sounds like optically like weird. Like if you like tie it into like this is your definition, like that would have, I think that would have been like an even bigger dunk.
Sex is binary.
Okay, wait. Okay, wait. Here. Very basic logic tree. So a binary is when there are only two. If there are examples of things not.
And then the syllogism right here. Bonesofdoom right here for this syllogism.
Being the two, it is definitionally not a binary.
And
There are examples of people who are neither of the two, as you just admitted.
No.
So therefore, it's not a binary.
I said that there's a rare case in chimerism.
Yes, which is an example of it not being the two.
Where they can produce both, but that's still
Which one are they then? Like one of the two. If it's a binary, it's one of the two. Which one is it?
Does both mean one? Does both mean one, or does both mean two?
Do you think sex is a way of classifying individuals or gametes?
Sex is a way, specifically, of classifying male, classifying female.
So this right here, I would have dogged him on too. Like, sex is a way of classifying male or female. Like, this is a tautology. Like, this right here is just tautological right there. Like, he's defining sex in a way where it can only be male or female. It's so fucking great. Because he doesn't make sense at all. Like, this is something that no biologist would like use. And that's the only way he can try to keep it binaries by defining it as a binary. Instead of like a classification of individuals.
Okay.
It's so great.
It's classifying individuals. You would agree?
It's classifying sex of human beings.
Okay, so
this just shows his lack of understanding of the topic. It's so great.
Human beings. Do you agree? It's sorting human beings into different categories. Yes.
Yeah.
So if there's an individual who produces both, which category are they in, male or female?
So now that's where we can get to it, right? So they're always still going to have one.
Which category?
I'm gonna tell you right now.
It's one or the other, male or female.
Let him go.
I'm going to fucking tell you. They always have a primary gamete production inside of their body, even in chimericism. That's what I'm saying to you.
Which doesn't matter, because now this right here, now he's shifted the goalpost. Now he's gone from which gametes do you produce to, this is the primary production of gametes. Which, I mean, sure you can say that, but his earlier argument was just based around the production of gametes, not which one was more prevalent, which one you could like shoot out first, really, or like which is the primary one. The mere existence that a person has, the mere existence of a person that has produced both sperm and ova, it disproves his notion of a binary, like outright.
No matter what.
So So I haven't been mentioning this up to now, but you're just like wrong categorically about how biologists classify this. Here, I can give you a very helpful infographic from Scientific American. I'm sure you'll find it very enlightening.
And I've used the Scientific American in debates before, like that chart. People just will. Most people will just hand wave it. But like I think I remember you explaining that it was made by scientists, which that is very much true, and that he's basically just going to kind of like he's just going to hand wave it pretty much.
Let's see. And I would hope that you acknowledge that Scientific American is run by scientists. So the way that biologists categorize sex is as a collection of traits.
There we go.
It's a bimodal graph.
It's a bimodal graph.
bimodal graph.
Like yes. Yeah, yes, Big Papa Fascist. It is a bimodal graph. It disproves your notion of sex being binary. Like he passed. I guess he understands what it is. Like the fact that biologists are saying this is bimodal, like that's it, done, easy. That's just another dunk right there.
Graph, it literally outlines like it's not just like one of the fucking it outlines from start to finish how for typical males it goes it's XY chromosomes beget testicles and a penis, beget testosterone during puberty, beget male secondary sexual characteristics, and vice versa for females. But it also then outlines all the different ways in which people can end up in the middle and don't end up concretely in either category.
Which again is another like doc to his whole spiel of a binary. Like at this point now we're talking about like different sexual characteristics. We're talking about chromosomes. We're talking about like different puberty. Like at this point you've now moved away from like the most like specific, like I guess what's the word, least categories, to now like this is what biologists like consider generally, and this is like a useful infographic at that point. And at that point like he has to hand wave it, or else he has to concede the argument again.
Like you said at the top of this that the intersex people don't exist, which is categorically wrong. Like so like I don't like oh my.
I said
At this point, like I would also say that yes, like intersex people can be categorized as like male or female at birth, but again, like that's not how like biologists like define like sex at that point. Like there's like specific like sets of categories for people, and if and that sex is like an aggregate of sexual characteristics. I'm pretty sure you said that in that debate. I'm pretty sure that's exactly what we said, that it's like an aggregate of characteristics. But like a BPF kind of has to keep reducing it down to gametes, and at that point he's already dunked on himself on this. So I don't know why he's continuing to argue.
The category of intersex exists when it comes to the chromosomes.
No, it doesn't.
No.
Yes,
he's just
the
wrong.
Chromosomes. That's what that means, literally.
Do you want to look at
Or
the definition
there
of
is
intersex?
some
He's just
cases
wrong.
where they have been categorized incorrectly, and that's how you ended up with the Sterling study that said it was like 1.6% of the population was intersex. Turned out it was only 0.6%
Do you
of the population.
wait. You said
The existence of like the different amounts of like population that people being intersex, like, and depending on how you categorize it, the fact that there's at least one intersex person that's been defined by a biologist, again, disproves a binary. Like I don't know if you like went into that. Let me see.
At the top of this entire
real
conversation,
quick.
that words are social constructs to beget meaning. Do you agree then that the criteria for what qualifies as intersex, like we can decide on different criteria, like because the study that you're referencing, it did indeed find that the initial study, it used a different classification. However,
See, I wouldn't personally have even gone into his study. I would have personally said that if he, now that he's like conceded that intersex people exist, like even if we grant his like very low end value, his like 0.006%, the fact that he acknowledges that there are intersex individuals, meaning that they are people who exist outside of like the typical male or typical female, like that in of itself disproves a binary again. Like once again, like he's just dunking on himself. and I think you really could have like dunked him harder here.
Acknowledged that and argued that those criteria should be included as being intersex.
They shouldn't be included. You shouldn't take a 50-year-old man.
Like I would have said here, and just I would have like I wouldn't. What do you have said? Like it's okay. Like cool, you addressed the article, but I don't think you addressed the argument properly there. And again, like my strategy again is like just pure fucking dunks. Like I would have called them out right there and been like, okay, so you acknowledge that intersex people exist and therefore sex is not binary. Boom, done. Piss them off even more. Like just keep sending him closer to the edge right there with that one.
Production and suddenly has some type of biological conflict where estrogen is being produced instead and classify them as intersex. Fucking ridiculous.
Why? Why is it ridiculous?
At that point, instead of asking him why it was ridiculous, I would have called out his incredulity as as fallacious.
Because that's not really what the meaning of it is. The meaning of it is based upon biological chromosomal anomalies.
Biological anomalies like producing estrogen instead of testosterone. Like again, let's intersex definition. If I can pull it up real quick. Come on, load, fucking hell. Site can't be reached. Oh no. I don't know if he gotta be justified. He justified the definition by appealing to the definition. Did I? Did I catch that? Specifically, which definition? Why the fuck is this not working now? Come on. Okay, hold on. So I'm not dropping frames, so it's just Google being weird. Oh yeah, the definition of intersex. He justified the definition. I was arguing that we should classify it like that, and he responded, "That's ridiculous because the definition is X." Yeah, that is an appeal to the definition, like. And even then, like he still like concedes your argument anyways, by like noting the biological aspect, which includes like there we go. Now we can actually like look at the definition. No? Hello? What the fuck? Okay, why is this loading? It's just really bad. Anyways, let's just go with like the Wikipedia definition that we see here. Intersex people are individuals born with any sex. Oh my fucking god, kill me. Don't in Minecraft, in fucking Roblox, in what else? Valheim. There we go. In Valheim. Intersex people are individuals born with any of the several variations in sex characteristics, including chromosomes, gonads, sex hormones, or genitals. That, according to the Office of the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, do not fit the typical definitions for male or female bodies. So he's just trying to mince definitions, and even then, he's still not even then, he's just still conceding the argument. Like this whole section is just him conceding the argument without him saying, "I concede X."
That's why it's so useful as a classification.
So if you just go to the first second, if you just go to the first sentence of Wikipedia, it'll read you: intersex people are individuals born with any of several variations in sex, including chromosomes.
Fucking hell. So you did read it.
Gonads,
you did
sex hormones or genitals.
I don't care about Wikipedia.
Okay. Sure. So it's citing.
He'll hand wave definitions that he doesn't like.
It's citing.
I fucking love it.
The United Nations High Commissioner on Human Rights. I'll just use their definition then.
I'm talking about biology. specifically.
Do you think?
Not human rights. Okay.
Oh, he's so bad. He doesn't care about definitions. He just wants to sound
Not
right.
Human rights. I'm not talking about human rights. This is very simple. Gamete production is binary.
Do you know?
There's always a primary sex
Okay,
characteristic.
we don't
and there
determine
always
sex
will.
based entirely on gamete production.
Yes, we do.
No, we don't.
Literally.
No, we don't.
Yes.
No.
Nope. And even then, he's still wrong that he's still wrong about it being a binary, even if we say it's about gametic production.
We do.
No, we don't.
Yes, we do.
We just-
Then why is it that if you see testicles, you assign them as male? Why?
But now he's pivoted to genitalia, not gametes at this point, or gametes. Like that was just that, like that right there is a pivot, like just right there. Now he's gone from this to that. Like he's going all over the place. I think that at this point just pinning him down would be great.
It isn't necessarily correct.
He's a bottom.
It's usually
It's
correct.
categorically correct. Why? Why is it? If they have testicles, why are they males? Why?
Because they're
Why are
not.
they fucking
Wait.
males if they have
Earlier,
testicles?
earlier,
Really
you
quick,
said.
I've been trying to be fair. Now I'm going to stop you. You asked a question.
Earlier,
Alright.
you said that intersex is based on chromosomes. Even in this scenario, do you think they test? Do you think they test the fucking?
Yeah, he keeps using like different definitions. Please no lolly. Rock-a-san. Where the fuck did my title does it say lolly discourse? What the I don't want to participate in that discourse. I'm not touching it. I'm not looking at it. I don't even want to acknowledge it.
The fucking karyotype of every infant that's born. Like, what if they actually are intersex? They would still like assign them as male. Like in that case.
No.
And at this point, we can also look at the definition of someone's sex from the APA, which is based around their genitals. Or if there are ambiguous indicators, we have internal genitalia, chromosomal, and hormonal sex, which again does not fit under BPF's gametes definition. Let me rip out my eyes. Okay.
To worry about chromosomes because you're assigned categorically by gamete production.
Do you no. Do you okay? Do you think that sex as a category is more useful as a way of just giving sort of like a designator to people, or as a way of characterizing like differences in physiology? Which do you think is more useful as?
Both. I think it's both. It's more useful as both.
It's one
That's
or the
just
other.
wrong.
Like
I mean, like
not
it's
one or
the
the
first
this is a
one.
binary. I'm giving you a binary.
It's both.
Nope.
It's useful. It's most useful.
I give
as
you
both
mutually
of those
exclusive
things.
definitions.
No, I'm saying that sex is the only definition that's useful.
Yeah, and I'm asking you which definition is useful of sex. I give you two mutually exclusive possible definitions.
And words can have different definitions.
Okay.
Yeah, this is
Okay,
kind of a
so-
weird point.
so
In order
here,
really
we-
quick. In
we-
order for us to have a
At this
conversation
point, it would have
about-
been like sex is only useful for like physiology, and they don't like always accurately describe the person. The person's like gender at that or like presentation and all that.
on a definition.
For
If the
100% of the
conversation is
time.
about
Let's try this.
definitions.
I know here.
Wait, wait,
Here,
wait,
I'm
wait,
gonna
wait,
do
wait.
mine. I'll
Moderating
compromise.
time.
So for the former case of just classifying individuals, I am willing to use the term assigned sex, and then for the latter case of characterizing the physiology of individuals, I would assign that to sex.
I do like the distinction that you made
there,
here.
terminological distinction. Problem solved.
Say that one more time. What?
Okay, so for the former case of just classifying individuals, I would say we can use the term assigned sex because people already use it in that way, and for the latter definition that I gave you of characterizing the physiology of individuals, we use sex for that.
Okay.
So
That's
there we
your-
go, a terminological distinction. There we go.
Okay.
I like this approach.
So the sex, as far as
Making that distinction makes like your next stuff your stuff I believe like after the debate about like how you wouldn't classify yourself as like male or female, that you would like probably go like towards female since you've been on HRT, like that makes sense. Again, I would do the same thing too. I think I've done the same thing.
it goes, regardless, the two are tied together. Even if
Yes,
you say
because
that one form refers to the biological physiology, that's fine, and one form refers to an adult human female, let's say, that's fine too, but they're still intertwined.
They're intertwined,
which
but
way
they're
you
not
cut
like.
it.
Oh, and at this
one-to-one.
point, I was able to like type because I think I got home at that point.
Using your like definition earlier of intersex is referring to chromosomes, which is not the definition, but whatever, I'll go with it. I'm perfectly capable of operating like within your framework. If we have someone who has testicles, so we assign them male at birth, we've categorized them that way. But really, they're XXY or some other thing that you would classify as intersex. There's a discrepancy there between their sex and their assigned sex. Yeah, so even
You're
usually
wrong. I'll tell you
assigned
why.
sex would
I can
come
prove
from
it to
sex.
you.
Wait, hold on. She's almost done. and
Yeah,
then we'll let you go.
usually assigned sex would come from sex, like most of the time. But we can acknowledge them as different concepts, and we can pinpoint like times where they don't quite line up.
No, the problem that you have there is that there are men who are born with a triple X chromosome, but we can still identify them as being men because why?
Because they have testicles.
Because they produce small gametes. It's very simple.
Which is, again, he keeps switching the definition around to where it's convenient for him. Earlier he was talking about the genitalia, even though I don't think he recognized that. Now he's talking about the gametes again.
It's been very simple. The only person who's trying to confuse it for reasons that are unknown are people like you.
And Scientific
because
American.
You want society to pretend that you're something that you're not.
No, I'm not. Listen.
Trans people have nothing to do with intersex individuals in this case. Like, this is just a non sequitur that he's
Sex
pulling out right
isn't,
here.
like, entirely unrelated to anything related to transness. I am perfectly willing. I am perfectly willing to well, let's see. How do I want to phrase this? I am making absolutely zero claims about sex in terms of in terms of trans identity. These are entirely separate concepts. And
Okay.
Scientific American
When you're
agrees. So
talking-
like,
when you're talking
And
about
also the APA agrees, and most organizations agree that sex and gender are two different things.
identity, right? That's the part that's a social construction, right?
like gender
I
identity.
mean, sex is also social construction, but I don't think anyone's ready for that combo. like the physical features that exist are like they're there, they exist. Like the penis and vagina, they do exist. How we categorize people with those things, how we categorize people that undergo like different like puberties themselves, and the concept of like puberty itself, like that would be a social construct. But of course, like this would be above BPF's head.
Identity, yes.
So
Gender,
we can call that whatever we want.
you can call it Schmender if you want.
Much more useful for me and
For
most
you
of
maybe, but not for
society,
science.
and for most of society
Not-
who has been using sex and gender interchangeably because they think it refers to this binary.
And they're wrong, but okay.
Why do you
Which is
hate
why
utility?
there's only two recognized genders in the United States.
Why do you hate
because they
utility?
just-
There are actually intersex people. No, there's actually in Germany. There's a third category for gender called intersex, for intersex folk. Legit, like look it up. It's kind of funny, like how he's like defaulting to the U.S. Like I would have just been like, well, Germany says this. Like it's a little bit of like a factoid, but like that would have been another way to like piss him off.
Wait, really quick. Let him finish.
Okay,
Let him finish.
okay.
Let him finish.
Because they've just been using them interchangeably. That's what they do. They just use them interchangeably. They don't realize the gender concept that you're talking about is not what they're thinking of.
Here. I'm willing to
And
branch out a little
and they're free to be wrong.
bit. I will acknowledge that most people tend to conflate sex and or tend to use sex and gender interchangeably.
Yep, that's
They
the.
don't realize
That's
there's
what I would have
there's-
said.
There's a distinguishment in the concepts. However, I think there is a utility in acknowledging that these two concepts are distinct
And that would
introducing
run the same way with scientific organizations too.
terminology in order to better recognize that.
I get it.
Say that
I
again?
understand that completely.
Do
And
you-
I've
do
had
you
this
just hate utility?
conversation
Like-
with many trans people before, and my position on this is very simply the opposite. That
Your
I would like
position is
gender-
anti understanding.
No, I would like to see gender completely abolished and for us to only use sex terminology, and that's all we should use. It's much more useful, and that's already the way that people perceive it. The only people who benefit from you changing all of fucking society to accommodate whatever your expressions are you.
It's also the scientific community because they have more like.
All right, buddy. So, buddy, Santa XPT. Enjoy your vacation. Like, I genuinely don't care if you think I'm a moron. You're just distracting me.
Like ability to like describe concepts. Funny
First of
enough,
all,
like
it's not the scientific community.
then
it's a
why is
small
it? Then why have I
sociologist,
cited the
also
APA at you and also
sociologist.
Scientific American? Are they not
No.
science?
No, sociology. That's all
The Scientific American is sociology. Let's go. But look at that. This is how far down he's gone that he's now called the Scientific American like unscientific.
sociology that you're talking
Here we
The
about.
go.
APA is sociology. Wow, 10 out of 10.
It's a soft science. Soft.
Which is why he was so comfortable with using their definition of homosexuality earlier.
Quick, I'm just giving you guys the 3-minute warning.
All right.
Because soft
Okay,
sciences are so untrustworthy according to him, but they're only trustworthy when they can give him a solid argument. It's the fucking hypocrisy is
I think
beautiful.
Scientific American is run by soft scientists too.
I don't know much about Scientific America.
I mean, it's
Lamau.
But if you're talking about sociological studies, then you need
This I would have just said the Scientific American is comprised of scientists, like hard scientists, and then that would have just blown him out
to
again.
learn about the replication crisis and how badly
Oh,
sociology is
funny.
affected by the replication crisis, how awful, especially psychology, is affected by it, and you need to recognize very, very quickly.
Let me see. Hold on. Because I've heard him make this claim before. And again, I don't know why the fuck it's taking so long for this to load. Let's see. Blah, blah, blah. Credibility of findings in psychological science. Let's see. A landmark paper in 2015 revealed that 97 attempts to replicate previous research findings, fewer than 40% were deemed successful. Another large-scale project in 2018 tested 28 findings dating from the 1970s through 2014. It found evidence for about half. An examination of 21 findings published in top-tier journals found that 2/3 were replicated successfully. These results are not necessarily representative of psychology as a whole. However, in certain areas of the field have likely amassed stronger evidence than others. So it just seems that like parts of psychology are bad. Yeah, it just says like some parts of psychology are just harder to replicate than others, which
Also,
yeah, sure.
that this is a soft science that many people who study hard sciences don't even accept as being real science at all.
And there's
Listen,
clearly a
buddy,
debate there.
The reason for this is because right now we're arguing about physiological concepts, and I'm just right.
Oh yeah, and also this
There's
is also just like a complete and total pivot from the sex thing as well. Like I just realized this. This is just him pivoting hard right now because he has nothing else right here. He's just lost so many times. This is the only thing he can retreat to at this point to even
I'm just
like come
right.
out good.
Okay, physiologically, gamete production is going to be what determines your sex. Period.
Like this critique isn't even like correct. Like this critique is it's not even okay. It's not even like wrong really. It's just like not like connected at all. He's he's talking about how psychology bad, and then talking about how he's right about biology, and then saying that because psychology bad, he's right about biology. Like this, this just does not follow at all, and it's hilarious that he's trying to do this now.
Period. Always, every single fucking time. Not sometimes, every time.
Do you agree that biology is a hard science?
Yes.
So then why do biologists for Scientific American want to classify sex like as being bimodal?
And here we go. He has to backpedal.
Well, I don't know why that particular group would, but that doesn't mean that it's the vast
Why that
majority of biology.
particular group, you know, representative of like American scientists.
Just A.
I
Also doesn't mean that that
Come on,
biologists by
BPF.
and large conceive that sex is bimodal. Gamete production
Gamey. I see the chat. Gamey production.
is
That's funny.
binary. Period. Gametes are binary. They just are. I don't know what else to tell you. They
Gametes
just are.
it's bimodal because
okay, this right here. Gametes are binary, like, but gametic entailment isn't.
you've pointed out edge cases that aren't where it's not cleanly one or the other.
When you're talking about bimodal distribution, you always fail to tell people that what you mean by that.
I feel
is
like I can
things
skip
like,
through this
is
part
your
and like
voice
still
higher
get
pitched
and
or
get
lower
nothing.
pitched?
No, it's not. If you
Yes.
if you no
Yeah, literally, it
here
can be-
here let's
it
look at
can
this
be
helpful
things like
infographic
that.
to learn more. Here let's give you let's give an example of one of the things like, sort of like in the intermediary like between the two like modes. So for
Like you guys keep circling on this. Like he's already conceded your point. Like you don't need to keep circling on this. You just need to keep telling them that he's already conceded this, and outline the concession that he made. Like and then just move on.
first off, starting at the top, someone could be have be 46XY, be stereotypically like male, you could say. However, they could have an ARG mutation, which leads to androgen insensitivity syndrome, which leads to ambiguous genitals, partial AIS, which leads to atypical amounts of testosterone and may develop breasts, which leads to hormone treatment. And then as a treatment, it can lead to hormone treatment to help to better promote male characteristics in this case. So here's just one example of one of the things between the two modes of the bimodal. Here I'll give you another example here. So someone could be 45X. This is a Turner syndrome. This results in a female internal and external genital structures and impaired ovarian development.
The Sterling study, that was one of the conditions that was categorized incorrectly, by the way.
So like I don't understand how you can agree with me that words are socially constructed, but then also say there's an incorrect way to use words. Like we can like we can argue that like this thing ought to be included as intersex.
Right now,
And there's a
at the gender spectrum as a bimodality.
This is not
And there
gender.
are
This is
many-
sex.
Many
Yep, he keeps
scientists
conflating
for
right here.
sex.
He
There are
keeps
many
conflating. This is
scientists
great.
Who claim that no, it's not bimodal at all. Okay, not even a little bit
You want to cite
bimodal.
them? Like,
Based
here,
on
if you want
what?
to, here. So we have
Based
5 minutes
on
left.
what?
If you want to
Based
span
on-
some citations that I can look at, and then we can sort of like look over them together. You know, I think that'd be a fun way to end things. If you want to spam me your citations now to show that most biologists don't agree with this.
What? That sex
is binary, not bimodal.
that sex is binary?
And not yeah. Well, you said that most biologists don't buy this. So show me.
Yeah,
Which
she's
brings
just
us
asking for,
to-
name of your sources.
The one source that he's brought to this debate. Wait, what's this one new message? Which brings up this one. Yeah. Hold on. Right here, which I think the National Association of Scholars. Which I believe, yeah, look at that. Look at all those sources, dude. Look at all these sources, dude. Let's see. Clayne Ensworth, Sex Redefined. Let's see. Then we go into here. Let's see. national, because I don't have time to go over all this. It's a conservative advocacy group. Like this isn't like a scientific organization. This isn't like a journal. This isn't like a research paper at all. This is quite literally sorry. It's just an advocacy group. Like, just being an advocacy group and not being like anything related to science is already just it's enough for me to say like, this is probably not the best way to go about it. And Roxie rightfully calls this out.
Yeah, and I'll post them up. Make your points
in
while
this
I pull
spark.
them up.
All right. Well, I have no further points. I just sort of, if we have like 4 minutes left now, I think it'd be a fun way to end things by just looking at.
I can do like 5 minutes after he posts a link if you want to do that, or if you want to just end it at the.
So I think a good step would be to talk about that for a little bit, and then maybe go into like closing statements or something.
Okay.
Mine was better.
And then
I mean, we could go over that debate once once it's edited together, Samantha. Like, I'm gonna be honest, like that we can't. Oh yeah, you're right. Not on Twitch. I can't review it on Twitch. I could make a video out of it just on its own.
My chat,
but not on
shit.
Twitch.
Holy fucking shit! This is fucking
bleep it. Nah. I do not have the editorial capability of doing that.
Thank you to everyone who subbed and gave gifted subs. Thank you, Axie Fungus for the gifted subs. Thank you, Fungus for the sub. Thank you, Lucas and
This is. I think this is.
This is like more to work with because like he's like putting up fights.
Hold on. I'll edit it. It'll be based.
Funnier, but this is like more to work with.
I'll have him send me the vid. I'll edit it. It'll be based. Great. I'll react to that then.
How are you doing, Lucas? Ashley, I have an insane level of patience.
Let me see.
Let's see. One thing that I found kind of funny though is he did the fucking melted.
What are we doing here?
Oh. All right. You have some sources.
Yeah, sorry, we were just waiting on you to.
The one source from a conservative advocacy group.
Whichever one you want to use. I was just waiting on you.
I don't give a shit about it. I can send the sources later, but what do you?
Sure, yeah. I thought that you wanted to post sources, so that's why I was doing it. We were just giving you time.
I don't think it's that important. Anybody can look it up for themselves.
It's not
anybody can look it up for themselves.
Important to post sources.
It's funny.
Bimodality is a new concept, and it's pushed specifically by transgender activists.
No, it's intersex
and that's
activists.
What it's always been pushed by. Sex is being bimodal,
and it's also being pushed by biologists. But it's all conspiracy by advocacy groups.
Very new concept. It's not bimodal. It's binary. It's known that it's binary. They cannot show you a third sex. It doesn't exist.
Well, see, if you knew the definition of words, you would know that we're not saying that sex is ternary. We're saying it's bimodal. There's no third sex. We're saying that
trans people infiltrating statistics to push bimodality. Yes, true that. They're infiltrating science, which apparently they've somehow gotten biologists in on it too.
Bimodality has a demarcation point, even by your own admission of bimodality.
Wait.
And that demarcation point changes depending on which characteristics you're talking about.
Do you understand that bimodal and ternary are not synonyms?
Yeah, I do.
So then why did you ask about a third sex? No one is claiming there's a third sex.
There's a demarcation point. Even in a bimodal distribution, there's a demarcation point.
Yes. There's two
Okay, so that assumes bi as in two, right?
Yes, there's
And now he's conflating bimodal and binary.
two. Okay.
Two.
Do you know what a mode is?
Yes.
What is it?
But there's a
What is it?
demarcation.
Yeah, define it. Define it.
What?
He's gonna
What is a
fumble
mode?
again. Here we go.
Let me pull up the exact definition for you.
Here, no, I can define it to you because I understand math.
Fine,
So
define
mode is it's being used as
Hold on.
synonymous with sort of average. There's two average points here. So data points here can exist around sort of a spectrum, but they cluster around two averages or two modes, bimodal.
Yep.
And so there's a demarcation point,
Yes,
right?
there are.
And there are also instances that occur outside those two modes, which is why it's which is why they're bimodal and not binary. But BPF also can't he can't concede that, or else he'll look stupid again. So he kind of has to keep dancing around the definition a lot.
Yes.
And can one ever fully go over to the other side?
It's not relevant to the question. It's not relevant to the topic of whether sex is bimodal.
Well, that isn't the claim of trans people, so it's really irrelevant.
Asking you this.
Yep.
Can they or not?
Let's see. Given current technology, no. But however,
But one day in the future, when we have AI and machines and shit, then yes, right?
yeah, well, not necessarily like AI, just sort of like advancements in biology. Sex.
I'm pretty sure there's been like a successful vagina transplant. Hold on. I think there's been like a full vagina transplant before. Yeah. Like this has happened before. Lab-grown vaginas implanted successfully in 14 years. Like the technology's already getting there. It's getting closer to being a reality. You know, just having full-fledged transplanted vaginas
So
done.
that's current like physiology. So if you can
Don't use
imagine
Scientific American. It's a soft science. True.
hypothetical where you change someone's physiology to be like the other, to be more the other,
It's
then like
totally- it's binary, and even
it's
by
not
the way,
binary, it's bimodal.
Even by the way, if we grant the bimodal,
He still can't concede this. At this point I would have just said you're just contradicting yourself. You've admitted that it was bimodal earlier, and
it doesn't even fucking mean anything because there's still
I would have just kept pushing him on that. I would have just kept circling back and just knocking him on that point again. With his own words.
demarcation point, and you cannot move from one to the other.
There isn't
in
a
your
demarcation point.
And of course, moving from a point to another is again irrelevant to the fact that sex is bimodal.
The boundary between male and intersex and female intersex is a bit. There's a bit of wiggle room. It sort of depends on who's drawing the line. That's what it means for it to be bimodal. You can't cleanly, you can't cleanly and non-arbitrarily
You can't just
demarcate
do, you
between the
can't
two.
do it at all. It can't
What?
be done at all. Not even halfway. It can't be done.
I mean, you could. It'd just be sort of arbitrary. Like,
And of course, all of the demarcation points are arbitrary. Even the one that he's put down, his demarcation
It's
point
like-
is also arbitrary. Because his demarcation point, it occurs within the gametic production, and he said, "Oh, whichever one is primarily done," and because at that point, what does primarily being produced mean? Does that just mean whatever you had your kids with? And two, it just ignores everything else that's going on, just so you can have this you're just cherry picking scenarios at that point. And attempting to force a binary where you've already been disproved.
How can a person change their sex from one to the other, even within a bimodal?
well, we're not saying that
distribution?
anyone's changing their sex. We're saying that people's sex exists on this distribution.
Oh my lord! But even if I grant it, it doesn't even matter. Even if I granted the bimodal distribution,
And he's already granted it before.
within sex, it still wouldn't matter because you cannot change your sex.
No one's
from
claiming
one-
there is.
Okay, but even then, what I'm saying is, my point is, you cannot change your sex.
No one's claiming to.
Okay, good. So the thing is that right now,
Technically, I'm gonna nitpick you right here, because I would also bite the bullet on this. I would claim that you can like change aspects of your sex, because like HRT does influence like secondary sex characteristics, which would fall under my definition of sex, which means like sex in that case would be considered fluid based on like my definition of the sex and what I believe your definition is probably fairly similar to mine. What yours is as well. Like I would probably have, if I were being honest, I would bite that bullet based on like that. I tried getting to that, but at that point I was just seeding for the sake of the combo. Makes sense.
you are a biological man, yeah?
Well, okay. So do you want to get into some
Both Zeke.
some dicey territory?
Let's.
Okay, so do you agree that sex?
I'm going to ask really quick before we get into dicey territory. Is it going to be dicey
Oh yeah, and also hi Bones. What's up, Zeke?
for my channel, or is it just dicey between you two?
Between us two, not. Listen, I'm also streaming on. I'll stream on Twitch. I would never I would never.
All right,
sabotage
go
you.
for it.
And
So-
I'm also
so-
streaming this, so I hope nothing
So
bad happens.
do you agree then that sex denotes physical characteristics?
Well, absolutely.
So-
Sex can
so-
quote physical characteristics.
So
yes.
if someone's physiology then changes, it would stand to reason that their sex could change, right?
It doesn't. That's a false dichotomy on its face.
Okay, well, I don't want to go down this road then.
Well, if we're not going to go down that road, then
I mean, like
we're probably gonna
BPF
cut-
probably isn't prepared for that combo. But yeah, I know you said this like after the debate. I'm pretty sure what you said was like, yeah, you would concede, and you have conceded that you're assigned male at birth, but that your sex doesn't necessarily align with a male because of your HRT. Like I know you said that, so I
Yeah,
know
I feel
where
like
you're going with
every
that.
topic we brought up has gone complete full circle,
yeah.
just like it kind of did again. But yeah, this was a pretty fun little spat. I'll let Big Papa Fascist do his closing remark really quick.
Here we
and
go.
then we'll throw it to Staroxvia.
So you saw right at the end, where I said, "Are you not a biological man?"
Like the fact that you didn't just outright say that you were born male, like it gives them like this rhetorical point, which I hate that he got. Like I think if you just said that would have taken away his ammo, like what Samantha had said last night.
And Galaxia refused to actually answer that Galaxia was a biological man. Galaxia is a biological man. Galaxia is a man. Now,
Then he just lies right there.
Galaxia may be a man.
That's not that. Like you're not a man. You were born male. You're not a man. That's for sure.
that have a wig on.
But
and Galaxia may be a man.
and the wig too.
Who's tried
Not a
to
wig.
change their secondary sex characteristics. in
The
such
wig,
a way that
the
they're
wig
perceivable.
take was just really weird. I know he lost when he was just like reaching for that shit. It's so great. Yo, Bones, who's this? Young Chin. That's who. What's up, dude?
Woman other than the Adam's apple, but I can tell you right now that
What's the difference between sex and gender in your eyes? Well, I mean, I could go like for the definition of like gender and sex, like right here, and make that indication through the APA, which I think is probably what I agree most with. Like basically, gender is kind of more or less like the. If I had to go like by this right here. The attitudes, feelings, behaviors that a given culture associates with the person's biological sex. And then, basically, like it's culture dependent, and then going into sex, which would be like the characteristics. Like it would be the aggregate of like characteristics that we would associate with like this person. So like the estrogen. So if we're going by women, like primarily estrogen production, vagina, ovaries. And then ova, the boobs, like the the more like a, I guess, hourglass like figure, for lack of a better term, like just like in the XX chromosomes, like that whole thing. And then gender's kind of like these social prescriptions that we give, like based on that.
Galaxia is a male, and I wouldn't be confused about Galaxia being a male or not being a male. And the whole problem comes inside of society when we start to believe that men and women are just these interchangeable, tangible, flowing things. One can just be the other, this kind of thing. They can't. Not at a physiological level, not at a psychological level.
I mean, what?
Galaxia can't feel what it's like to be a woman. How could Galaxia feel that? Nobody can feel.
He doesn't even know what a fucking woman is, other than like he thinks that a woman is when you have a vagina. Did you see Big Papa's debate with Dylan Burns, where Big Papa used the definition on how homosexuality is same-sex attraction? Yeah, he's used this definition before. I've seen it. I went over that specific one earlier, like in this analysis.
If they're a male, it's impossible. These are the types of logical absurdities that we have to deal with in our day-to-day lives all the time now.
And BPF is just bitching at this point. I want to make it clear for multiple reasons, because, for instance, if you're born at the sex of a male but you express as a female, and it's different medically to distinguish the difference. I want to say it's distinguish and not extinguish. And also, like, what do you mean by that?
Because these people pretend, for some odd reason, that we should just make these broad assumptions that they're women. They're not women.
You wouldn't know how to counter that? I do. And Roxie does too. I would. There's multiple like APA definitions, and then if we go down to sexual orientation, this definition talks about gender. This definition also talks about gender. Like, I would just explain that there are definitions where it talks explicitly about gender and not sex.
Sorry, I don't mean to be mean to Galaxia, but Galaxia is just...
You do mean to be mean, which is why you were using one Galaxia the whole time, and now you're just outright, like, just misgendering her.
Not a woman. That's it.
You're just misgendering
Okay.
Roxie.
So I guess I'll go.
Good,
So
good
I'm,
job,
I'm
BPF.
Staroxvia.
I can explain
don't know why I
what
can't
I mean
pronounce
over a
that
few
anymore,
words. Gotcha.
But
I'll do that.
But I will.
Just hop into my Discord.
I will end by saying the entirety of the scientific community is on my side. The source that Big Papa just gave, it's not even a journal. It's a non-profit politically conservative advocacy group, and it's just a single biologist that he's citing there. So this is a terrible source. Modern biology recognizes that sex exists along a bimodal distribution. Independent of that, modern psychology in modern medicine recognizes that trans people are are those whose gender identity differs from the gender they were assigned at birth, and affirms their gender identity, and the best course of treatment is indeed affirming that. The entire body of academia is backing me on this, and it's fucking ridiculous that Big Papa Fascist has argued the way that he has this entire time. If any of you in Silent Soul's audience like what I do, you can find me at twitch.tv/STAROXVIA or twitter.com/STAROXVIA. And yeah.
I know what you're getting at, but for medical reasons, it isn't necessarily super helpful to consider me male because my physiologic is so unique. Because your HRT, you need to take me individually. Yeah.
That concludes it.
All right. Thanks, you guys, both. And I think this was pretty fun. Papa Fascist, if you want to stick around for like a little while longer, there was someone that had words for you, and I feel like you would have fun with this conversation.
And I think this is the end of the debate, so... I drag you in. Gotcha. Oof.
What's up?
It is now midnight. Yep. I have now like been in this like in the topic of like fucking like the trans debate and shit for 4 hours. And I was gonna like I had like other things I planned to do. But now I think I'm just going to like log off after this convo.
I don't blame you.
But yeah, no, so like this debate was like a wash. You kind of like blew out BPF, especially like towards like the end. Like it, like in the beginning, like he was kind of rhetorically like dancing with you there, and then once you caught him in like a lot of his like his dumb shit, especially like the gender like binary bimodal shit. Like that's when he kind of kept having to retreat a ton. And that's where like I would probably like attempt a different rhetorical approach of just like bashing him.
Okay.
And basically just noting his like his contradictions that he keeps making and keep making light of that, because it's pretty difficult to like rhetorically navigate around your own contradictions if they're being made known.
Yeah.
Because generally an
like,
audience wouldn't catch that.
Yeah, I think like that's like the most like consistent like feedback that I've gotten, to like be more like aggressive about like being on about like his own hypocrisy.
Right.
So.
Because like
yeah.
big Papa Fascist is not a good faith debater at all.
Nope. Weirdly enough, I thought he might be, because I saw like the one that he had the debate he had with Demon Mama. It felt like he was like going along with her a bit. So I was like, oh, so I was coming into this thinking, okay, maybe I could get him to budge a little bit, like he'll just go with me. But no, he just he has his own like set of talking points, and you kind of have to knock him off of that, really. Because science isn't on his side. Like he can call the entirety of psychology like a soft science, that replication crisis and all that, which like it does exist. It is an issue within psychology and mainly certain aspects of it. But then again, it's like it's a lot more. He also like uses the APA for like definitions of homosexuality. He will at one hand criticize like an institution and an academic field for being academically, I guess, like not rigorous, and then also use its definitions against you. It's like what? Like it's just it's
why?
It's a convenient out whenever he doesn't want to address something.
Exactly. He will use whatever tactic he can use to win an argument.
Yeah.
And I think it's important to like note that for people that are going up against him.
I think I did relatively well, especially given my like inexperience.
I'd rate that about 7.5 out of 10.
Oh hell yeah! It's fucking C.
And then Samantha Banana got him to use slurs.
Oh yeah.
Like that,
God.
like at me being there for that, I was just fucking laughing.
Oh my god.
Because
fucking hilarious, yeah.
Because I've like seen Big Papa Fascist Twitter, like he like complains about like the woke, the CRT peeps, and then he gets fucking triggered when someone out rhetorics him and pisses him off.
Yeah.
Like he just gets into like a baby fit. It's fucking hilarious. It's so beautiful.
And then like it was like he made like a tweet afterwards like it seems the Decepticons are angry tonight. I would say to CMS that they can't have it.
which is so like it just shows how like inept he is. He can't even fucking Google search like the effects of estrogen on trans people, which under the effects is like something like PMS.
Yeah, like it isn't uncommon for trans women to get PMS like symptoms on estrogen.
It's like he's just so like incompetent sometimes.
I know he's hilariously bad at his talking points.
And if once you like know his arguments, like you can basically just like dunk on them before he makes them. And at that point, it just makes the debate a lot easier because he hung himself on the sex is bimodal debate.
Oh yeah, oh, he totally. Oh my god, he went from like intersex people aren't real to
they are real, but they aren't like common, and then like
and it's only chimeras for like genetic things,
right, and then
and
then also like people can only produce like 2 gametes, but also like people that produce both gametes, there's like a primary one that we go by. Like this is like the same arguments that I've heard by TERFs on Twitter. Legit.
Yeah, he just kept backing up to like claim like he didn't hold ground on any of his positions.
Well, yeah, because his idea was to like slither around them, so it looks like that he was holding his ground when really he was like moving to a position every time he lost it.
Yeah, I should have asked him what he thought the difference between a binary and a bimodal was, because like towards the end there, like it felt like he was just like insisting that like they're the same thing.
That's another thing that I kept seeing from him is like he'd on one hand he distinguished between a binary and a bimodal, and then as like the debate was going on, he was making them more and more synonymous. Hold on.
Yeah.
Sorry, that was like my youngest sister. But yeah, no, like Big Papa Fascist is just like a fucking slippery bastard. Like there's nothing much to him besides he'll just slip around if he fails on a topic.
Yeah, I'm pretty happy with how it lands.
Yeah, no, I thought you did good.
Yeah. Hi, thank you very much for your feedback. It was like really helpful.
Yeah, of course. I've probably like meandered through a lot of it because it's really long, and I don't know if I'm gonna need to edit it too much. I just need to like find the beginning and clip out the video. Though I don't know if I want to take this pretty much entire stream and just throw it up on YouTube, or if I want to like cut out the debate review, then talking with Sieg, and then you. It's probably going to be something that I figure out later this week when I get to actually producing the videos, because I also I had a debate that I did earlier, like a couple days ago, with like some like random fucking like Doyle simp, I guess, for lack of a better term.
How'd that go?
Personally, I think I did all right. There's like some points where I was probably like a bit shaky. It was shaky on because it was like, one, it was late, and two, like we like got into the weeds on like some very like off-topic shit. I remember specifically there's like a topic about me saying like Hitler was like a religious fundamentalist, and I couldn't quite necessarily get all of the fucking like sources that I need to like put that in, but I was able to like say like, oh yeah, he was like very into like blending the church and the state and all that.
Okay.
But yeah, no, this dude is saying like gay people are bad because God says so, which is like the most brain dead argument, and made me want to find a shotgun in Call of Duty.
I admire your fortitude to not do that.
It was painful as fuck.
Alright, so it's kind of late for me. I'm getting kind of hungry, so I'm gonna head off. Thank you very much.
Of course.
Have a lovely night.
You too. All right. Let me throw on the